Oh, shit. I still have the Superman thing from last week. And there we are, back to normal. Alright. As we get back into it, we are back once again. Mario Galaxy. It's been a few weeks. It's been a while, but we were making our way through this game, and then we just kind of got sidetracked, you know, we got busy. But hey, we're back. Continuing on, I think we're heading to the kitchen next? That sounds right, hopefully. But yeah, on the show tonight, of course, the big thing everyone's talking about is Donkey Kong Bonanza, you know, the big new Nintendo game, potentially, you know, one of the biggest games of the year. Yeah, one of them. So that's the big thing, and of course, I have been playing it. I already said we're not going to stream it. I have no interest in it. Instead, you know, we're going to play some of the classics. So we're working on that. But we will, of course, be talking about that. I got a bunch of movies this week. I have watched, 5 movies. None of which were great by any means. Yeah, no, none of them that were great. Some of them were... But so we got a bunch of that to talk about. We got 3 news stories. All of them are Nintendo related. Not that non-Nintendo stuff didn't happen. It's just that's all I want to talk about. So yeah, it should be a pretty straightforward night. There's a few other things. There's a food thing. You know, it's whatever. I'm tired. My leg hurts. I've been up and down and all around today, and I'm out of it. So yeah, with that, oh, and of course Marble League. We got the next 2 events 3 and 4. So of course we got to check those out, but that'll be at the end. Alright, so for gaming news, we have 3 stories. All of them are Nintendo related. One is about Donkey Kong, because, hey, we might be getting a DK movie. One is the Zelda movie. We got an update on that, speaking of movies. So I do want to talk about that. And finally, Nintendo is bringing back their Playtest program, which is interesting. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. So those are our 3 stories. Again, they're not the only shit that happened this week. I know there's a rumor of like a new Dark Souls game. I know there's a few other things, or just a new From Software, I should say. But I don't care about any of that. I've still never... The only Souls-like I've ever played is the original Dark Souls. So who am I to judge? Alright, so for our first thing, so we know there's a Mario Bros. Movie. And we're getting another Mario Bros. Movie in what, May of next year? I think it's May, that sounds right. Which, speaking of that, we might actually be getting a new trailer for that soon. Because, well, it's still, you know, like 10 months away. The original trailer for the Mario Bros. Movie was revealed at Comic-Con. And you know what's this weekend? Comic-Con. Now, so far as I'm aware, there isn't an Illumination panel at Comic-Con this year. To be fair, I have no idea what's going on at Comic-Con this year. Like, I haven't heard anybody say shit about anything. Like, I know DC, like, James Gunn's doing a panel. I know that new Marvel game, Cosmic Invasion's getting a panel, but like there's no MCU panel. I can't remember anything else. I don't know. Comic-Con can be neat, but it also kind of sucks. But yeah, I swear it was around this... At least, was it around this time that we got the first more? That might have been in September, now that I think about it. But I thought it was around this time. Where we got that first little teaser of, like, the penguins fighting Bowser. Or maybe we got the voice actor reveal, or... Something happened around Comic-Con. So, yeah. But, okay, so... That aside... We know we're getting a new Mario Bros. Movie. At some point, maybe it's Mario World, maybe it's Mario Galaxy. It's probably World. If it was smart, it'd be called Super Mario World. We'll see. But there's also now a thing where I guess Universal Pictures, Illumination, and Nintendo have registered the trademark or the copyright for an upcoming Donkey Kong movie. And if I'm being honest, I think that makes total sense. If we look around us, you know, Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I know it's launching on like a brand new system that only like 7 million people have. It's still going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I think it's the second best reviewed game of the year so far. It's, you know, in contention for the Game Awards and all that stuff. It's going to be huge. And so I think Nintendo being like, yeah, you know, people liked Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong in the Mario movie. Because, you know what? I did. Even though he's literally just doing a Seth Rogen voice, I think he actually fits it. I think he does fine. I buy Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. So yeah, we know Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong exist. We see Cranky Kong. The one voice that surprisingly doesn't fit in that movie is Cranky Kong. I want to say it's Fred Armisen, who just doesn't feel right. It's weird. But you know, if they all come back, if we get a Donkey Kong movie with King K. Rool, that would be so fucking cool. Who would be a good King K. Rool? My first thought for some reason is Steve Buscemi. I don't know if that's the right thought, but for some reason that's my first thought. I don't know, you want somebody who could go crazy, but, you know, obviously you want it to be animated. But you gotta do K. Rool. You gotta do K. Rool. I mean, they could adapt the game that just came out. So you could get the Voids. I don't want them to do the Tiki Tribe. I don't care. I like the walruses and the tropical freeze villains, whose name I can't remember. I do like them as villains, but I don't... No, you do K. Rool. He's the classic. He's the one people know. He's the one endorsed by the lizard folk. I had Inside Job, you know, the Netflix show that got canceled after only one season. That was it's such a great show. I've been kind of listening to it in the background, and they go to the lizard people's annual get-together, and it's like, new strides are being made for the lizard people. We got K. Rool and Smash Bros. That was funny. Good joke. So yeah, I think a Donkey Kong movie could work. I think there's a lot of potential. Do Donkey Kong Country, have fun with it, make it a fun Seth Rogen buddy comedy movie about Donkey and Diddy going out and, you know, doing all their shit. I think it could be fun. I think it could be fun. I get why this would work. And, you know, if Nintendo wants to build off on it, then fucking go for it. We literally, that's all we know. We just know this copyright exists. Oh, also, Donkey Kong has a fucking theme park as well. Also great synergy. Of course, this movie wouldn't be for at least another year or two. Or at least like another two years minimum, but it's going to be longer than that. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool. I'd be down for it. our next story. So on Nintendo through Miyamoto put out a statement on Twitter, but it was also posted in the Nintendo Today app because, hey, guess what? They're still actually using that. And they do still push out notifications. And so we know Nintendo has teamed up with Sony to do a Zelda movie, a live-action Zelda movie. Sure, is it what people want? The idea of a Zelda movie is a decent one. The thing is, people would have wanted it to be animated. Specifically, if you could have gotten like a Studio Ghibli Zelda movie, that would have been the coolest thing in the world. But I get the appeal of a live-action Zelda movie. I think out of all of Nintendo's franchises, it's the one, like, everything I think should be animated. If this had been animated, that would have been fine. Like, God, could you imagine if the teams that just did Spider-Verse and K-Pop Demon Hunters, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, could you imagine them doing a Zelda movie? That would have been so fucking cool. But no, it's going to be live action, which I get. I get the appeal. I get why they're doing it. I don't really... I'm open to it. Sure, I see the potential. I feel like we're just past... I know live actions are taken more seriously than animated. It's still a video game movie, though, so... Yeah, could you have imagined... God, that would have been so cool. What was the other... Oh, Metroid, that's the... I was like, what's the other... Because there's another series that could work in live action. I legitimately think it's only Metroid and Zelda. I don't know if any other Nintendo series should be done in live action. Star Fox shouldn't be done in live action. Literally anything Mario related probably shouldn't be done in live action. Other big Pokemon worked. Actually, Pokemon can go either way. It worked in live action, but it also works in animated. You can go either way with that one. Splatoon, I would want to be animated. Kirby, I would want to be animated. Animal Crossing, I would want to be animated. Or Claymation, I've seen all those Pokemon Claymations. Having Aardman do a Animal Crossing thing would be goated. So, it all just depends. But okay, what about our actual cast? So the big fan cast, there had been a lot of people being like, oh, watch, they're going to cast Tom Holland as Link. Which nobody wanted that. And then the big fan cast for Zelda was Hunter Schafer. Who, I'll be honest, she looked the part. She probably would have nailed it. I totally believe it as, the Twilight Princess Zelda. I think she would have done great. But... the problem with fan casting is, you always gotta cast those popular, those famous actors. Your Tom Hollands, your Chris Pratts, your Jack Blacks, your Seth Rogens. Even if they do good in the role, I'll stand by. Chris Pratt is way better than I thought he'd be in the Mario movie. Jack Black fucking knocks out of the park, but I always had faith in Jack Black. He's Jack Black, for Christ's sake. But, that's the problem with fan casting, is you're always going to get that. So it's really nice to see the Zelda movie and it be like, no, we're going to get a bunch of nobodies. People you have never heard of before. Or at least you probably haven't heard of before. Admittedly, I've never heard of any of them. The only one, I later found out that the kid who's playing Link was in Blind Manor, one of those Manor shows on Netflix. With Raoul Cool. So that's like, oh, that's neat. That's cool. I don't remember him in that. But yeah, I guess he was in that. It's one of those shows. So that's cool. But like I knew nothing about the guy. Same thing with the girl. So I guess let's talk about him. So the person playing Zelda is Bo Bragason. What has she done? I have no idea. Legitimately, I've got nothing noteworthy about her. I literally know nothing. She's 21 years old, so she's on the younger side. But I think the photos that were released, We don't know if these were like costume, because they're not shooting the movie yet, right? They're still in casting and whatnot. We don't know if these were like costumes or just test photos, or if they just picked random photos, which I think these are like test photos, because she's in like a blue dress. The guy who's playing Link has like a, fantasy adjacent shirt. So these had to have been something, but we don't know. Either way, I see it. I've seen people do some edits where, they turn her hair blonde, they give her a crown, and yeah, I think she can pull off Zelda. I think she looks fine in the role. Link, on the other hand, is being played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Again, this guy was in one of these like Blind Manor shows or one of these horror shows. I don't know. I literally did not recognize the kid at all. But it's kind of the same thing. I've seen people do some edits, give him the blonde hair, the green hat, the green tunic. And yeah, he can pull off Link. So I think it is good casting. I'm glad that they're going for unknowns, because it makes it easier for me to like buy it. It lends itself more to it. So no, I like both of these castings. Miyamoto, what was his... He put out, in his statement, he put out something where it was like, I picked... These two were picked because of the performances they gave. That they, like, matched the characters. That it's kind of, it's not about... As we've learned from James Gunn's Superman, as he's been talking about a lot recently. It's not about finding the best actor. It's about finding the best actor for the role. Right, that both Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet tried out for Superman. And they were both good, but David Cornsweet was just the better actor for the role. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I think they're getting at, that it's just the best actor for the role. And yeah, he's hopefully will be a good actor for the role. So I think these are both good castings. And yeah, the Zelda movie has potential. I have so many concerns. It's live action. It's being done by Sony. The only thing that gives me a little like, this might be fine, is the guy who's doing it is, just did that Planet of the Apes movie that came out, last year, earlier this year? I don't remember. Time is an illusion. But that Planet of the Apes movie was really good. Sure, did they also do the Maze Runner? Yeah, but I actually liked the first Maze Runner. The second two kind of suck, but the first one was good. And yeah, that new Planet of the Apes was also pretty good. Of course, is it being produced by the people who did the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies? Yes, and that is concerning. But Nintendo proved, because Illumination is not a great studio either. Illumination kind of sucks. And while I know there are a lot of people who will look at the Mario movie and be like, nah, this movie sucks. Fuck this movie. This is an awful adaptation of the source material. Or, it's an accurate adaptation, but in the process of making an accurate adaptation, they made a terrible movie. Like, yeah, they adapted the source material faithfully. It's, a bad movie. Which I get that complaint. I think it's very extreme, and I think the Mario movie is decent. Not amazing, but decent. But, yeah, Nintendo managed, compared to some other Illuminations movies, both Minions movies, Despicable Me 4, Nintendo managed to get Illumination into shape to make a decent movie. I have faith that they'll pull the same off with Sony. That they'll get their shit together one way or another, and they'll make something half decent. Now, what are they going to do for the Zelda movie? I have no idea. I've seen, like, if I were to do it, if you were to ask me, hey, what would you do for a Zelda movie? I think the thing you do is Ocarina. Ocarina is, I think, the most straightforward, the classic Zelda story. I think that'd be the primary one to do. But I could also see Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is arguably the most cinematic Zelda. So I think that it's a fit for adaptation. Skyward Sword is the origin story, so that makes sense. You know, that's where it all started. And it also does, like, Skyward Sword has some of the best, like, characters in the series. So, like, I get that. You know, I'd be down for live action Groose. You know I would be. And then, of course, the other option is Breath of the Wild. I know Breath of the Wild, what makes it unique is its open world thing. Something that you can't do in a movie. Not really, anyways. You know, Bandersnatch aside. But I could see them adapting some form of, like, the Breath of the Wild story. But, you know what? Maybe they do none of that. Maybe they just take the base... You know, Zelda is a series that is basic. Hero saves a princess from a dragon. You know, they get a magical sword. They encounter test allies and enemies. It's as basic a story as you can get. So if they're just like, no, we're going to create something entirely new. We're not going to adapt any of the games. We're just going to take icons and elements from the series and make it our own. Kind of like what they did for Mario. Like, the Mario movie is a conglomeration of a bunch of different Mario stories. You know, they take the wedding stuff from Odyssey. They take some of the exploration stuff from some of the other games. You know, it's not just one thing. It's taking elements. If that's what they decide to do, I think that would work. But we'll just have to wait and see. The movie's like 2 years away. It's like May of 2027. So that's, you know, they haven't even started shooting yet. But, you know, I'm here for it, because of course I am. Next up, so Nintendo in like October of last year, they did this thing called a Playtest program. You know, while we were all waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 to be revealed, instead, one of those random days where we're like, hey, is today the day? Nintendo instead announced this Playtest program. What was the Playtest program? A bunch of footage of this has leaked online, so you can go and find it. But from my understanding, it was like this social game where you were like transporting materials and building stuff. You know, it's basically Nintendo's version of like multiplayer Minecraft. That's definitely not the best comparison, but I did not get in the Playtest program when it originally happened. I've only seen like a few clips and pieces here and there, so I could not even begin to tell you what it actually was. So they did that in like October of 2024, and now here we are in July of 2025, and Nintendo has announced that they're gonna do another playtest program. So it will be taking place from July 28th to August 10th. So it starts in, what, like a little under 2 weeks? And they're going to be testing the same service as before, and it's just another test. The big change this time is that the original playtest program, they did 10,000 people. Only 10,000 people were able to get in. I, of course, wasn't one of them. This time they're testing 40,000 people. So it definitely feels more like a stress test, more of them like testing it to capacity. Because, again, is this going to, what is this going to be? Like, I know when they last showed it off, it had like cavemen. Is this going to be the same thing? Probably part of this is testing it for Switch 2. I don't know. This playtest thing is like I'm not going to say it's the weirdest thing Nintendo's ever done, but it is fucking weird. And yeah, the fact that they're doing it again is very interesting. So in order to get into the playtest, you need to create an application, and then you need to submit the application. So to create an application, that opened earlier today on July 18th. It opened at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want, you can go. You know, I got this from a tweet at Wario64, but you can probably Google it and find it. And you just create an account. It's basically you just sign in with your Nintendo account and say, hey, I'm interested in this playtest thing. But that's it. For today, that's where it stops you. because you can just create the thing saying like, hey, I'm interested. You can't actually sign up for the playtest until July 21st at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, you have to wait until Monday at 8 a.m. It's first come, first serve, so you gotta get in there quick. But they will be signing up another group for playtest. My hope is that, the fact that people, saw the previous playtest, know that what it is nowadays, I'm hopeful that maybe less people are going to sign up. It is a thing, though, where if you signed up for the previous playtest, you are able to sign up for this new one. They didn't do any sort of, restriction or anything like that. I want to say it even, if you created an account to sign up for it previously, and you got in, it still has your account saved. So, you should just be able to, your account should already have been created, allegedly. At least I think I read that on Wario64 somewheres. So yeah, they're doing another set of this playtest program, because this is a game that might not even be real, I want to clear. Nintendo's testing this shit out. Maybe, after one too many, everybody want to switch, they have a concept for a game that they don't know if it's actually going to be good, so they just keep testing it to maybe see, hey, maybe this time. Of course, part of this is presumably also, doing a Switch 2 test to see, hey, how well does this work on Switch 2? Because I think that's one of the changes as well. Man, they're just doing this again. It's weird. It's kind of random. It's one of the weirder things Nintendo does. But yes, I will be trying to get in. I will not be streaming it, because technically you're not supposed to stream it, you're not supposed to show any gameplay, that's breaking NDAs. I'm not going to bother with that, but I will be trying to get in. Last time I didn't. Maybe it'll go better this time. I don't know, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, so there's just some info on that. Anything else? Anything else? No, I think that's it. Yeah, those are, like I said, those are the 3 news stories I actually kind of care about. Oh, Nintendo, also speaking of playtests and whatnot, Nintendo's going to be doing a DragX Drive, or Dragon Drive. A playtest, not a tech demo, a beta, an online server test. I'm actually I don't remember what dates that is. Let me open up the Nintendo Today app. But they're going to be doing that. It will be going on in, I know it's August, and all you need is Nintendo Switch Online. So if you have Nintendo Switch Online, for an hour on certain days, you'll be able to play DragX Drive for, free, just to, they're doing the beta test. Come on, there it is. It's called they're calling it the Global Jam. You know how, Splatoon does their global test fires? They're calling this a Global Jam. It takes place August 9th and August 10th. So in, 4 weeks? Something like that. Right before the game releases. It happens at certain times. This Nintendo Today app doesn't tell me the times, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why it doesn't. Oh, one of them is from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Saturday the 9th. So I at least have, it tells me that one. Yeah, there's one from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the 9th. There's another one from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. also on the 9th. And then there's a third one on the 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So they're just doing 3 of these test runs. You don't need to buy the game. You only need Nintendo Switch Online. I will say, I would actually probably recommend checking this out. Because, it's kind of, a free game. But also, for a lot of people, they're only going to want to play DragX Drive. DragX Drive is one of those games, Foam Stars. Kirby's Dream Buffet, where you only play it for like 2 hours and then you never touch it again. So Nintendo, unless of course you really enjoy it. So Nintendo giving a free beta where for a few hours you get to test out the game. For some people, that's going to be all they need. Those like 2 or 3 hours is going to be like, yep, I felt like I fully experienced this game. I am now good. So yeah, you know, and because that's all they'd play if they bought it. I don't know. That's just a thought. I may basically what I'm saying is I may no longer be picking up Dragon's Drive. Let me put it like that. So yeah, that's that. So let's get into WIBE. For WIBE, we've got a food thing. I went and tried a Burger King burger. And then we got Donkey Kong Bananza, the big thing. I wanted to talk about that early. So we'll talk about that. I did also try to beat Miitopia this week. Or at least that was the idea, where I was like, you know, I'm going to try to blitzkrieg Miitopia before Donkey Kong comes out. That didn't work out, because, you know, I've been working on it. But I do, you know, I might as well talk about it, because I've been playing it and nothing else. And then the new Game Changer came out this week, and oh boy, was it a wild one. Not unlike anything Game Changer has ever done before. I mean, it kind of is. But it also, you know, it fits their standard. We'll talk about it. And then, movies. So, if you haven't been getting the notifications like I have, the Disney Corporation has a movie series called Zombies, which is all about zombies, but it's actually a metaphor for racism. And they're putting out a new one, they put out a new one like a week or two ago, and I've been getting like so many YouTube ads about it for some reason. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's watch these zombie movies. Like, I had heard they weren't great, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll watch all 4 of these movies. They're each like an hour and a half. You know, they're DCOMs. I used to love DCOMs as a kid. I loved Smart House. Smart House was so good. So I was like, fuck it, I'll try it out. So I watched all 4. They are not good, and we're going to talk about all of them. And then, continuing on with Superman, I did watch Superman Returns. I did not watch the Kinda Funny thing on it. I guess the second time since we've been doing this. I watched the movie earlier today, and was like, yeah, I'll get around to the Kinda Funny thing later. And then I instead just played Donkey Kong. So I have not listened to the Kinda Funny thing on that, but we might as well still talk about Superman Returns. You know what? Fuck it. I watched the, almost 3-hour movie. Ugh. And then if I think of anything else, I know we've got marbles. So let's start off with the Big Mac. The biggest Mac. So Burger King, or not, why did I say Big Mac? The Whopper. Ugh. You can tell I'm out of it. It's a long day. So Burger King released a new Whopper. It is a barbecue brisket Whopper. So it's a Whopper, but it's got like their barbecue brisket on it. It might have like crispy onion strings, or it might have there might be something else. I kind of don't remember, but it's a barbecue brisket Whopper. I think, did we talk about Freddy's? Freddy's Custard did a, also, it wasn't brisket, but they did like a burger like that. They did a smokehouse burger that was kind of similar. Let me see here. I'm trying to pull up. Barbecue brisket Whopper has... Yeah, it has crispy onions. It has a sweet, tangy barbecue sauce. So, you know, I'll be honest. Brisket's one of those things where it's like... And same thing with like most other like smoked meats. Is you need to take your sweet-ass time. And, like, it takes, like, basically, like, a full day to smoke a good meat. And so I'd want, like, you need to take your ass. That's why you go to, like, a specific restaurant that, like, they just do brisket. They just do, like, smoked ribs. You know, that's why you have to go to, like, those specific places. Fucking Burger King isn't going to be able to pull that off. I still thought it was fine. Their barbecue was fine. The Whopper itself, you know, it was, you know, a decently cooked Whopper. Burger King is one of those restaurants where it's like, one in every, like, 5 times you go to it, it's gonna be good. It's not very often, but every once in a while, if you get it just right, it's gonna be decent. And if I'm being honest, this was kind of one of those times. Like, I'll be honest, the brisket makes the burger a little soggy, for lack of a better word. Either that or they just put a shitload of sauce on it, and that kind of adds up. But yeah, I'd say the bun was definitely, like, a little, like, soggy. Like, it was definitely, like, falling apart from, like, the weight of the sandwich. But I actually think it was decent. Would I go out of my way to get it again? No, probably not. But then again, I'm not going to touch Burger King until, you know, the next stupid thing they do. Because I would never go to Burger King otherwise. And even still, sometimes I do and I just completely regret it. But I was curious. So yeah, I've had worse. I think I know I tried that Freddy's. Was it brisket or was it? What was the? Oh, fuck. I cannot remember. There was a Freddy's one that I think we talked about. I honestly can't remember. I'd say the Freddy's one was better than this, but I think that's because Freddy's is just a better burger overall. Like, yeah, I know they do the smash burgers, which isn't. Yeah, Freddy's also did a barbecue brisket burger. So yeah, I guess they both have done barbecue brisket. But yeah, if you want a brisket burger, go to Freddy's. Because I think the Whopper one, the Burger King one, it reminds me more of like a pulled pork. Like it's kind of shredded. Whereas the Freddy's one was like slabs of brisket. It was overall just a better burger. And yeah, that's because Freddy's is better in general. So yeah, that's between the two, that's what I'd recommend. But then maybe don't do either of them. Because, yeah. You know, save up that money and go to a good barbecue place. Like Rudy's. Where, you know, I don't want to name any local places, that's the thing. Like down here in Texas, we got so many good brisket places and so many good barbecue places. But I ain't giving away any of my secrets. Nah, fuck that. I don't think I talked about this. Like a year ago, a local burger place that I loved closed down. And God, I just want it. It was so good. The only one of, you know, it's not a franchise or anything, just a local hole in the wall, only one of its kind, and they closed. And oh God, I miss it. And then like a few months ago, a pizza place, same thing, local hole in the wall. Technically, there is another one, but it's like an hour drive, and it's just not worth it. Even though I do really want it. And I should be clear, that's an hour, so that's an hour there, an hour back. It's just not 2 hours for a pizza. It's not worth it. Whereas before, it was like a 3-minute drive. But I've been craving it recently. They had really good cheese. They had a really good cheese, a really good crust. God. It's been on my mind, like, I've just been craving pizza. And that's like the first place I would have gone to. Okay, so that's that. You know, that's my one food thing. It's a food thing. It's whatever. Let's talk Donkey Kong Bonanza. So, I have been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've completed the first few levels. And I say completed, I've just done the story stuff. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a good game. It's a great game. Honestly, it's the type of game that is a system seller. It is such a good first-party game that, like, hey, if you're even slightly interested in Donkey Kong, if you've liked some of the older Donkey Kong games, if you like Mario Galaxy, if you like Mario Sunshine, if you like, Odyssey, especially Odyssey, you're gonna want to play Donkey Kong. And honestly, it's so good that it might be worth buying a Switch. Maybe not today, I'll be honest. If you're still, kind of on the fence, waiting for a few things, waiting for them to, announce an Animal Crossing or something else. Yeah, I get that hesitation. But it is, if you're right there, if you're, really close to being I want this, it's worth it. Donkey Kong is so good. I've seen someone on Twitter, I think, was like, you know what this game is? It's Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, all mixed together with the Hulk game on PS2. And admittedly, I've never played the Hulk game on PS2, but I think comparing it to the Hulk is a good comparison. Because, the only other points of comparison I've had for this game have been Red Faction Guerrilla, and Teardown, and, all those other voxel games. I think Teardown is the one I'm thinking of, right? What's the other one? I don't know what the fuck you are. Well, it was called Teardown, right? Give me a second, I'm Googling it to make sure I've got the right game. Yeah, Teardown. Okay, I do have the right game. It's just, it's fun to go into a world, smash shit up, blow stuff up, explore, adventure. It's got all the vibes of Mario Odyssey. All the great exploration, hundreds of collectibles. Not as many as Donkey Kong 64. The game with over 3,000 collectibles. It's not that many, but it is definitely a lot. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I've seen some people compare it to a gacha game, and I don't want to say that's bad faith, but the reason why gacha games have so many currencies is that they're intentionally designed to be confusing, to make you spend money on the game. Whereas this is designed to just give you more stuff to do. More things to collect, more secrets to find, and overall, I think it does a great job at that. It's one of the things I've noticed. So in Mario Odyssey, you collect moons. Your big thing is, you gotta collect moons, and in each kingdom, you have to collect so many moons to move on to the next kingdom. And, usually in the process of doing that, you have to, do some story segments and get what's called world peace. In the example I'll get is the Desert Kingdom in Mario Odyssey. To get out of the Desert Kingdom, you need, it might be 13 moons. 13 seems like I'm undercut. It's somewhere between 13 and 20. You need 13 to 20 moons to get out of the Desert Kingdom. But to get some of those moons, you can do the story segments. You can go through town, climb the pillar, go to the shifting sands, do the Moai segment, go into the inverted pyramid, fight Harriet at the top of the inverted pyramid, have the inverted pyramid rise up, go underground, fight Knuckle Attack, and then after beating Knuckle Attack, do you achieve world peace. That's, that defeating Knuckle Attack gets rid of all the ice, and that's what's called world peace. This game, so you can do either one. You can either get world peace, or you can get the 13 things. Technically, you need to get 13 anyways, but, you know, in the process of doing world peace, you'll probably get the 13 moons needed. Probably. Whereas in this game, you just have to get world peace. You don't need to collect, like, oh, you're in like, you know, sublayer 300. You need to collect, you know, 13 Banandium gems to move on. Nope. You just have to get world peace. So, does that make speedrunning faster or slower? Probably slower, because I know Mario Odyssey players are able to route the game in a way where they can just, you know, not do world peace and save a lot of time on some of those moons. This one's probably going to take a little longer, and I only think about that because potentially when it comes to the Game Awards, you know, this year I did a whole thing with Astrobot where it was like, hey, can I beat Astrobot before it wins Game of the Year? You better believe I'm considering, can I beat Donkey Kong before it wins Game of the Year? I'm definitely already considering doing that, because it 100% Donkey Kong Bananza, Claire Expedition 33, and Death Stranding 2 are being nominated for Game of the Year. I don't know anything else that's going to be, but it's definitely going to be those three. And can I be honest, what is it with people's obsession with Game of the Year? Have you all noticed it this year? But for some reason, and it might be like this every year, but especially this year, I'm noticing everyone's talking about Game of the Year. Now that we've hit the halfway mark of the year, I have seen so many videos that are like, hey, here's my predictions for Game of the Year. Here's the 6 games I think are going to win Game of the Year. Hey, so far this year, these are my Game of the Year so far as of, you know, halfway through. I don't know why people are so obsessed with Game of the Year this year. Has anybody else noticed that? But yeah, for some reason, just everybody's talking about it. And I know I'm no better, but yeah, I'm no better. But so overall, you know, it's fun to explore. I'm exploring in Donkey Kong, but I'm not getting too far off the beaten path. Because at the end of the day, I know once I beat the main story, you know, once I get all the world pieces, I'm gonna go back and get everything else. Because, like, just the first kingdom, or maybe it's the second kingdom you go to. No, I think it's the first, the lagoon. It has, like, just of the basic fossil, there are, like, 60 of them. 60 of these fossils, just in the first kingdom. And then there's all the Banandium gems. There is so... I haven't even checked. I'll be honest, I have not been paying attention to that. But there is so much to do. But yeah, so from Mario, you know, people complain about too many moons in Mario Odyssey. Even though my problem with that complaint has always been, well, yeah, there's too many moons, but you only need 130 of them to beat the game. Like, Nintendo very clearly designed the game to give you variety over, you know, just like, hey, you need, like, unlike other Mario games where you need to get all the moons. Or, you know, like, unlike Sunshine, where you need to get a specific 7 moons from each of the worlds. Mario Odyssey is way more open. This game, yeah, I don't think you'll be able to beat this game without getting a single banana, but I bet someone like Ciev or Game Champ 3000, they'll come along and do a minimum bananas run. It's only a matter of time. Because I bet you can beat this game with very few bananas. I do think that's a good thing. You know, giving players those options. I do also like that bananas are skill points. Because, you know, if you're going to have 1,000 bananas in the game, potentially, I wouldn't be surprised if there are 1,000. I think it's making it so every 5 bananas you get gets you a skill point is a great evolution. It makes bananas feel more important than moons ever did. Because sure, well, you need moons to progress the game. Honestly, once you get 500 and that unlocks darker side, you don't need to get any more moons. You only need that many. Whereas, you know, to get every skill point, you're gonna need every banana. Like, that's a way better reward, way more accomplishment, you know, the sense of accomplishment, seeing the skill point tree get filled out. I think it's a great change. Genuinely a great idea for a great change from Nintendo. I hated that boss as a kid. I was so bad at that boss. I only lost a single life. And God, especially the Daredevil run. The Daredevil run was awful. So I think Bananza is great. I think the worlds are all good. You know, you start off in this. Well, after the tutorial world, you know, after your Cap Kingdom in your Dino Jungle. Well, let's say that. You know, you go to a lagoon world, you go to a desert world, and then there's a bunch of others that I'm not going to spoil. But those are like the first like 3. And they're all fun to explore. They're all way bigger than I thought they were. Like, at first I was kind of like, oh, these worlds seem kind of small. And then something happens, and I'm like, oh no, they're a lot bigger than I first realized. That's a good thing. But there's so much to see and do. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. I'm already enjoying it. It's the type of game where, you know, you sit down to play it for a few minutes, and then 3 hours have passed before you even noticed it. And that's a great thing in a game. So yeah, I'm having a good time with it. Admittedly, it's the type of game where, yeah, sure, I can put dozens of hours into it, but I don't want to go through it all in like one day. You know, I very much am the type of person who likes to savor a game. Like how I'm playing Mario Odyssey right now. Or Mario Galaxy, I mean. I would not play Galaxy like this on my first playthrough. I would take my time so much more. You know, take my sweet time, see all the sights, do all the little things. But, you know, this is like my probably like 5th or 6th playthrough of Galaxy. So we're just kind of going through it. And yeah, I'm having a good time with Galaxy as well. Is it better than Galaxy? I don't know. We'll see. Because this game, out of all these classic, you know, games we've been playing, you know, 64 Sunshine, Odyssey, or 64 Sunshine, and then now this is probably the best one. I'm having a great time with Galaxy. I think I said this last time we played it. I didn't want to stop. When we were playing it last time, I just want to keep going. Because it is so good. And it plays so good on Switch as well. The way they do motion controls with the gyroscope feel great. I really wish they had ported over Galaxy 2. Because if I do want to do Galaxy 2 after this. And if we do Galaxy 2, I'm going to have to bust out a Wiimote. And, you know, bust out either the Wii or the Wii U. And God, that sucks. That just sucks to do. But you better believe I'm thinking about it. Man. I don't want to... What other things do I want to... Because I don't want to give away anything on Bananza. I don't want to talk about anything that happens after, like, the first, like, few worlds... Like, the first, like, 2 or 3 worlds. I think, without being any specifics, I think all the bosses are good. I've only done, like, a few, but I do like the bosses. You know, kind of like Odyssey, they've got some good set pieces, some fun moments. Overall, I think the bosses are really solid. Pauline, I like Pauline. She is voice acted, which is very nice. But she's very endearing. I find her cute and charming. I like Pauline. It helps that they voice acted her. There's this thing where, so you can lay down in beds to get, like, bonus hearts. You know how, like, in Zelda, when you make, like, really good food, it gives you a few, like, temporary bonus hearts? It's in this game, when you lay down in like a really good bed, you'll get some bonus hearts. Oh, God. Fuck it, let's do it. So yeah, you get some bonus hearts, but every time you lay down, right before you can like go to sleep, and you can just go to sleep, skip it. But you can also talk to Pauline for a second, and you have like this little dialogue where she comments on like what's going on. It's just these cute little conversations. Like one of them is like, we're in the desert area, and she comments how she saw a lizard crawling around, and she's kind of worried to go to sleep because she doesn't want the lizard crawling on her. It's just cute little endearing things like that. I do like Pauline. I like oh my God, the music is all so good. Really enjoying it so far. It's a great time. It is a great time and a great game. Other things. Customization's good. I like, you can customize the fur color. You can customize the outfits of both Donkey Kong and Pauline. Even though Pauline never gets shoes. And I'm walking around this... I mean, I know she's not walking around, but I'm walking around this desert and it's like, oh, that must suck without shoes. Because I've got her in like a little cowboy outfit and it's cute. But yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed, like, the outfits give you, like, stat changes, and I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed them. The upgrades I have definitely noticed. The stat changes, not really, but I think it's fine. The one with the Bananza power, so you can, like, beat your chest and turn into the Bananza, which is cool. It's weird, because when you transform, like, the Bananza is powered by gold. So you'd think, like, as you're transformed, as long as you keep collecting gold, the timer will stay active. That's not how it works. Instead, basically, once you transform, it starts a timer, but any gold that you collect will build up a second bar that will basically... So, like, you can transform, untransform, and then immediately transform again. So you can basically, build up, like, a second bar to immediately transform again. Sometimes, though, it does kind of suck when you, like, have to transform to, like, bust open a wall, and then it's like, yeah, sure, you could run around transformed, but I just immediately change back, and then because the bar's not full anymore, I can't immediately change back if I needed to, which, you don't. But, like, it's only been an issue once, and I don't think it's actually a problem with the game. It's just, I think it's weird, because, like, in different games, it'd be like, hey, once your transform is based on your gold meter, and any gold you collect would continue to build up that transformation. Or, it would work like the, magic armor in Twilight Princess. Yeah, anything else about Bananza? It's just a really good game. It's a good game. It's gonna sell Switches. Hopefully, I'll play it more than once in 7 years. Because that was Odyssey. I played Odyssey when it first came out, and then I didn't touch it again for 7 years. But I know other people are loving it. It's a fantastic game. It's gonna sell systems. I've already seen people on TikTok being like, where do I get a Switch to? Everyone says Bananza's the GOAT, which it is. Where do I get one? Because, I predicted, Nintendo did something stupid, people got mad. But gamers have the memory of a goldfish. The second somebody else does something stupid, Xbox, they were going to move on to that next thing. And they kind of did. I mean, people are definitely still big mad at Nintendo, but, the Xbox has also done some really stupid shit. They do continue to do stupid shit. But then, eventually somebody else is going to do something stupid, and people will get mad at them instead of Xbox. I've been around the bend over and over again. It's kind of like what everything that's going on with the Epstein files right now, where Trump desperately wants to do someone else to do something stupid, so that way people will stop bothering him about the Epstein files, which he 100% is on, by the way. I don't know if you read that. There was a letter that came out, yesterday, from Trump to Epstein on Epstein's 50th birthday. It is so fucked up, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why Trump's trying to get all these people to, get the memo and stop talking about it. And sure, some of his base is totally falling for it. And, some people, Charlie Kirk are being brought in line. Other people are, being like, oh, well, if Charlie Kirk says it, then I guess I'll say it as well. The Epstein files don't matter anymore. And then it's also, I don't know if you've noticed this as well. I feel like a lot of Trump supporters forgot that Donald Trump was the president when Epstein committed suicide, quote unquote. He was, that happened in 2019. He was the president. You do know that, right? I feel like because of COVID brain and everything, I feel like a lot of people have forgotten that Trump was the president for 4 years when a lot of this shit went down. I mean, I think that's kind of how he got elected a second time, is because a lot of people forgot he was the president the first time. So yeah, that's a whole thing. I had to bring that up at some point. Yeah, release the Epstein files, Trump. We all know you're on it, and the only way to prove you're not on it is to release them. And he's not gonna do that, because he's definitely on it. Okay, so let's talk Miitopia. I've been playing Miitopia again. I started playing it a while ago. It was, even though, I probably should be playing Expedition 33 or, any number of better RPGs. For some reason, I was just kind of I kind of want to play Miitopia for some fucking reason. It's been sitting on it's been sitting on my Switch shelf in my backlogs forever now, and I was just you know what, fuck it. I don't think it's too long of a game, but I was I can probably squeeze through this all really quick. So I booted it up. I got about halfway through, because if you don't know, the game's divided into 4 acts. So, the first act, you start off the game, you meet some of your first party members, and then you go and you save the king, save the prince, or I don't think the king gets possessed, but maybe he does. I don't remember. I know the princess does, though. So you save the princess, and then at the end of the first act, you beat him. The demon king runs off to the desert, or demon lord, dark lord. I don't remember what they call it. And you follow after him. And then that night, he ambushes you at the inn and steals away your 3 party members and takes away your job. So that's the first act. The second act is you're in the desert. This I've admittedly just been using Mies off of online. So the arrogant prince was Lord Farquaad, because it just made sense. And so he releases this genie. The genie fucks with people. Eventually you get the genie, who I have played by a Minecraft villager. You get him, you stop him, you form a new party, which my original party was just all the basic. I was a knight, I had a mage, I had a pop star, and I had a thief. Just some of the basic classes. I had to put one of the fun ones in there. So my second party, I became a cat. And then I got a cleric, a chef, and an imp. Or is it I think it's probably an imp, not a demon. That party was okay. The biggest problem is both the chef and the cleric are healers. And so having two healers in the party who will... Because, you know, you only control your main character. You only control the character you're playing as. And even then, you can actually just set them to auto-battle. So with doing that, you know, if you just have a bunch of healers, they will prioritize healing over anything else, which kind of sucked because my chef was like my second best damage dealer. Because the imp is, I think, a support class and not a very good one in my experience. The cat, meanwhile, can do a lot of damage. Like, I got the cat doing well over 100 damage. And that's not even talking about the horse. The horse gets crazy. So that was my second party. I did all the desert quest stuff. And then you go off to the third act, which is you're in, like, the fairy forest. And you have to save the 3 fairy sisters from the demon lord. And that's kind of... I'm near the end of that quest, you know. Saved all the fairy sisters... dealing with all that shit. And yeah, it's fine. My new party is I'm a scientist. I have a tank who I don't think the tank is that good either, cuz yeah, sure, they're bulky, but their speed is awful and their only attacks use magic, and they're not a very magic heavy class. So I don't actually think the tank is that good. I have a flower who, I'll be honest, hasn't really done much. They're just a healer. And then there's another party member who I don't remember. It's, a princess. Which the princess actually seems to be fine. The princess seems to be okay. But, you know, I'm just playing through Miitopia. There was a part of me that was like, earlier, this was on like Monday, where I was like, you know, I kind of want to try to just beat this game before Donkey Kong comes out on Thursday. That, you know, maybe if I just kind of try to blitzkrieg it, I'll be able to beat it. And then the new Donkey Kong comes out and I can just devote all my time to that. I didn't, obviously, you know, I'm still somewhere in the third act. So I've still got shit to do, obviously. But, you know, it's okay. It is definitely, like, baby's first RPG. Less so than, like, an Animal Crossing is a baby's first RPG, if you've ever heard that saying before. But it seems pretty simple. I know the game does get, like, very fucking difficult in the post-game. There is, I guess, like, a post-game dungeon gauntlet that just goes crazy and gets, like, really hard. But I don't plan on doing any of that shit. I'm just gonna beat the game, call it a day. Yeah. And then maybe after I beat that RPG, which... give me a second while we're cutscening here. I've got a moment. How long to beat.com. How long to beat... Miitopia is like a 30-hour RPG. Okay. To be fair, that's actually longer than I thought it was going to be. I mean, compare that to, what? Oh, really? Expedition 33 is only 28 hours? What the fuck? Oh, shit. Maybe I will do that. I mean, I know... Even a 64-hour completion. Was Miitopia's longer? Miitopia's completion was 89 hours. Holy shit. Maybe I will do Expedition 33 next. I do want to play it before the end of the year. I did not realize it was actually... Because one of the RPGs I do want to also play, that I was talking a lot about last year and then I didn't do it, was Super Mario RPG, which is also, yeah, that's only a 12-hour campaign and a 20-hour completion. That one's also very short. That one's half the time of either of these. But still, wow, I'm just so, I guess I'm so used to, like, fucking Personas that are... Persona 5 is 101 hours to beat. Dragon Quest 11 is 57 hours. What's my goat? Okay, that's only 47. That's actually not bad. I mean, that's still very long, but yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm just... that. Yeah, I did not expect that. Oh, shit. That... I might be able to do... I gotta get through Bananza, though. I gotta get through Bananza first. Because I do actually now own Claire Expedition 33, by the way. I saw it. It went up on sale. It was just a few bucks off. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Sure. Let's just... Like $5 off. Everyone says it's the best game of the year. It really... This game of the year competition is really going to come down to the two type... This game of the year is going to be 2023 all over again. You're going to have a titan of indie games. Claire Expedition 33. Which is an indie game, by the way. I feel like a lot of people are forgetting this. But yeah, Claire Expedition 33 is an indie game. You're going to have that... versus a titan of Nintendo and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Those are going to be the two frontrunners duking it out. Meanwhile, everything else is just kind of there. You know, 2023, it was Baldur's Gate, an indie game, versus Tears of the Kingdom. And, like, Alan Wake was, like, your third place. And then, you know, some other stuff was there. Marvel Spider-Man. This year... I feel like, yeah, it's gonna, you know, it's Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong duking it out, and then Death Stranding 2 is just kind of there, you know, competently in third place, and then Ghost of Yotei is just kind of gonna be there, chilling out. That's what this is gonna come down to. So yeah, Miitopia, not bad. Would I recommend it? Fuck it. If you've got nothing else to do, then sure. I literally got the game for like 10, probably $20. I picked it up for pennies on the dollar. I just want that new Tomodachi life, man. That's what it all comes down to. I love me a good Tomodachi life. Those games are so fucking stupid, and I love them. And, you know, Miitopia, well, it definitely isn't the same. It's kind of scratching that itch, and I can work with that. And I'm all out of water. Okay, let's talk about Game Changer. So this week for Game Changer, the big thing they did, the big Game Changer thing, leading up to the episode, so this was like a week before the episode came out, Sam Reich put out a statement on the Dropout socials. You know, his TikTok, the Game Changer TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, all the places, Blue Sky, saying like, hey, for the next Game Changer episode, we recommend you watch it as it airs. You know, avoid all social media channels. Watch it as soon as possible, preferably when it airs, to get the best viewing experience. And, you know, while watching the episode, make sure to interact with Dropout socials. So, upon hearing that message, again, before the episode, a week before the episode came out, people started, like, wildly speculating. Like, hey, what's gonna happen? What's gonna be the thing? My thought, and I know I'm not the... and a bunch of other people had this idea, was that there was gonna be some kind of, like, voting thing. Because even though the episode is, you know, this was recorded back in, like, October. So the episodes have already been pre-recorded. Maybe they were gonna do some kind of, like, vote thing. Where based on stuff that happens in the episode, you could vote... and then later on, those votes would have some sort of effect. You know, not 1 year later, but kind of think of something like that. And now, technically, if you're looking at it from a very technical level, something like that did kind of happen. As the Dropout community, we are able to kind of cast a vote to, you know, show support for different things. Again, I'll get to it when we talk about the episode. But that was my thought. It was going to be some kind of vote thing. Now, of course, some people didn't think that. Some people literally thought, like, oh, is this going to be a live episode? What's going to happen? Is Sam Reich going to show up at my home and tell me Sam says, and then hand me the gun and give me a folder with my target? You know, people had all these crazy ideas of what this episode was going to be. And it was none of that. So, before we go any farther, let me just explain the basic premise of the episode. So, in the episode, it's Mike, Trap, Reika, and Jordan? I think it's Jordan. It's the three of them, and they are doing Shark Tank. But they're acting as producers. So they've each been given a budget of $10,000, and the different contestants are coming to them with their idea for basically a viral social media post. And the Mike, Reika, and Jordan hear their pitch, and then we'll give them money based on their pitch to make that pitch happen. So I'll use the first two in the episode. So the first one in the episode is Phil? It's Phil, right? And he's like, hey, I have the idea to do like a giant, like, you know, those like snake skins where you put glue on your hand and you peel it off. I'd like to say we all did it as a kid. It's probably less of a thing nowadays, but you know, I definitely did it as a kid. He basically is like, what if I do like a glue bodysuit and you peel it off me? So Mike invests, you know, the $250 in his thing, and they make it. You know, he goes, he gets himself painted on glue, he comes back later, and then they peel it off his skin. And then that clip of them peeling it off was uploaded to their social media accounts. And that's where the audience participation comes in. Is that you go, and if you go on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and you watch those videos, give them a like, leave a comment, that's kind of like voting in a way. I mean, there are some, like, Persephone Valentine comes out, and is like, hey, I want to do a sexy car wash. And they do the sexy car wash, and it's like for Team 1, leave a comment for Team 2. So they do a literal vote. But you get how it is kind of voting. You know, based on your watch time. If you want a video to succeed, you leave a like and leave a comment with the hopes that other people will do that, and that'll push it out to the algorithm and get more and more people talking about it. It's a very simple yet effective premise. I get why it's a good idea. And then, like, the second sketch is, Anna? I think it's Anna comes out, and she's like, hey, I want to do, like, a king for a day, where we move around a throne, and we get people off the streets to be the king for the day. It's just a simple, fun idea that is, you know, based, like, honestly, out of all the ideas, I think this one's kind of like the most genuine. Like, if you're trying to play to, like, social media and what people like on social media, I think that one works really well. I think that one's very traditional. It's not going to win, but I think it's a good idea. Same thing, there's one later on that is definitely not going to win, but it's the Human Puppy Bowl, which very much reminds me of, like, one of those old, like, College Humor sketches, you know, back before they were Dropout. It reminds me of, like, one of those. Like, I could totally have seen, like, Josh and Jeff and Murr and Pat being in a Human Puppy Bowl sketch. Like, that totally feels like 2012 College Humor. So that one I don't think is going to succeed, but if it breaks out of the Dropout sphere, I could see that actually, like, I can see that video getting reposted for years on, like, moms' Facebook accounts. You know, white moms posting the Human Puppy Ball every year. You know, it gets reposted, it gets thousands of likes. Weirdly enough, I think that one has, like, that and the King one have, like, the longest staying power, even though they're definitely not going to win the competition. But yeah, that's just the basic premise of the episode. You know, based on the money they spend, the contestants, you know, they're in videos, they team up for some, and at the end of the day, you know, in a month, basically, they're going to count all the views for the first week. So if you want to participate in the episode, go to their TikTok, go to their Instagram, go to their YouTube, watch these videos, leave a comment to boost them in the algorithm, and potentially, you know, you have until basically the first week, until like Monday. And then at some point, they're going to update the episode with the final totals. So that's cool. Like, yes, there is an element of viewer participation. I've seen some people mad at this episode that the way Sam phrased it, that's not really what happened. You know, so I've seen some people say it's disingenuous. I definitely think maybe Sam could have worded it a little bit better if he had come out and said, like, hey, if you care about spoilers for Dropout, watch the episode as soon as possible. We will be posting some very spoiler-heavy clips on TikTok, on Instagram, you know, on the Dropout socials. So we recommend watching this one ASAP. Kind of leave out some of that, like, fan voting stuff that definitely, you know, led people to think it was an ARG. And instead just lean heavily into, like, hey, if you want to avoid spoilers, watch this one ASAP. Now, I do think this one would have been interesting if they had released the clips before the episode. Like, could you have imagined if sometime... So, full spoilers for the episode ahead. I might as well say, you know, we're going to get into spoilers right now. Could you imagine if a week ago, randomly, College Humor had dropped a clip that was, hey, guess what? Brennan Lee Mulligan is leaving Dropout to pursue his dreams of making American Girl doll shoes. No context, the episode hadn't come out yet. That would have been the craziest thing in the fucking world. Like, could you imagine that? Because, you know, because of the episode, we know it's a bit. A very clever bit from Vic Michaelis. That's obviously the front runner. Like, that video of Brennan leaving to make American Girl doll shoes, last I checked, it was like over 2 million views. Google had set up a thing where if you Google Brennan Lee Mulligan, it shows heart eye, like it shows a heart that's like, we thank Brennan and wish him the best of luck on his future pursuits. And then you can click the heart and it drops shoe emojis. Like, that video has taken on a life of its own, which of course it did. It's Vic Michaelis is a genius, and obviously making the Brennan retirement video, it's gonna blow up. But imagine they had released that without the episode. And like us watching it, you know, if you had seen it on the Game Changer socials, you would have been like, okay, this is obviously a bit from Game Changer. But in that like weird, you know, week period, you wouldn't be certain. Like, oh yeah, it's on the Game Changer social. And like, imagine if like Jordan on their podcast had been like, hey, here's an ad for Brennan's doll shoes. Like, that would have freaked people the fuck out. Like, that would have been like, and you know, Mike and Reka posted like wishing Brennan the best of luck on their future careers. Like, the more they leaned into it, the more people would have gone crazy. And then the Game Changer episode comes out, and it's like, oh, okay, yes, this is confirmed. It's all a bit. There are some people who do not believe it's a bit. That, like, because Dropout keeps, like, doubling and tripling down, that they no longer think it's a bit. It's not a bit. Or, it's not a bit. It is a bit. This is a joke, the whole American Girl doll shoe thing. But yeah, that one has taken on a life of its own. Obviously, that one's going to win. But, of course, because they all put money into it, it's going to zero out at the end of the day. The other one that is going to take off is Katie. Katie did Dimension 20 on a bus, where she got 4 of the biggest DMs of all time. You know, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Brian Iyengar, Mark Mercer, the 4th one, who I don't know, but is very popular, obviously. Got the 4 of them together, and was the Dragon Master playing D&D with them. And obviously that one is huge. That one is so big that they've officially started selling shirts for it. You can go and on the Dropouts website, buy a shirt for D&D on a bus. It's great. It's a really, it's my, of all the sketches, like obviously the Brandon retirement one's going to be huge, but I think the D&D on a bus is the best one. And like, I'm glad that one's taken off. It's the perfect little D&D thing. I get why people want that to be a whole campaign, because it's really funny. People have been doing fan edits. People have been doing shipping art. You know, there has been so much art. Go check Abria on TikTok. They've been reposting all of it. Like, not all of it, but like a bunch of it. So if you want to see some of it, that's where I'd recommend going to check, because that's where I've been seeing all of it from. So that was great. The D&D on a bus one was really good. Other sketches, Grant doing his whole ASMR thing could have worked, but Grant couldn't shut the fuck up while filming it, so it was never gonna work. And the fact that he made it like a challenge also doesn't help. So that one's gonna fail. Oh god, the breast milk one. So they do a breast milk blind taste test. Jordan, and it's Lily, Izzy, and Becca's breast milk. It's been pasteurized, and she has to try to guess whose is whose. And she fucking nails it. That video, I think that one's in 3rd place, and like rightfully so. That one's crazy. That's great though. So that's a fantastic one. Any of the other ones come to mind? Like I said, the king one's good. The dog one, if it reaches its right audience, both of those, if they reach their right audience, they will far outlive the bit of the episode. Whereas I think the rest of them will just kind of be here. Izzy's butthole one is, I think the first time it happened, it was kind of like lightning in a bottle. I don't think it's going to work the second time. Outside of some actually decent animation, I didn't actually find it that funny. So that one's kind of whatever. Oh, so Erica does a thing where they can get something shaved into the side of their head. Basically, they're like selling like advertising real estate on the side of their head. Jordan goes in on it, gets it says Sam Reich sucks, which was, you know, we saw that haircut in a previous episode. But then at the end of the episode, you find out the barber who did it, Ed, passed away. Because again, this was all filmed in October, around October. So he passed away, and people found out like, hey, for his funeral expenses and his medical bills, they started a GoFundMe. Within like 24 hours, the GoFundMe, which I don't know where it started at, but it was, you know, it had a $10,000 goal. It wasn't at $10,000. Since then, it has more than doubled its goal. I think they've raised like $20,000 last I checked, which is, you know, just good to see the community coming together to support them. Fantastic. I'm sure there's at least one other sketch I'm forgetting, but overall, I think it is a very solid episode of Game Changer. It's very much an inside baseball kind of episode, seeing them, you know, behind the scenes, talk about sketches, like producing them. Like, if there had been a hardly working College Humor sketch where they had pitched sketches like Shark Tank, I 100% think that this would have been what it looked like. You know, Shark Tank sketch, like hardly working. It would have made perfect sense. I think it's very solid. Admittedly, I enjoyed it, despite some of my prejudices, because I do not like Shark Tank. In high school, I had my economics professor, teacher, it's the same difference. They loved Shark Tank. And I'm not saying we watched a Shark Tank episode like every week, But yeah, my econ teacher loved Shark Tank. And I've seen so many episodes. And I kind of fucking hate the show now. So, despite my prejudices against it, the fact that I still really enjoyed the episode, it's a good sign. But I can see why some people wouldn't like it, because it is very much inside baseball, and I know not everybody cares for that. I would say it's one of the weaker episodes of the season. It's not particularly, like, super funny or anything. It's just, you know, it's kind of interesting. But, of course, I'd still recommend it. Go, you know, you have until that first week to rack up as many views as you can. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up to see where they are. I'm going to specifically pull up TikTok. To just kind of see, like, hey, where are they at the moment? Game Changer Show. Yep, there's the shirt. Okay, so the Brennan Lee Mulligan one, I'm gonna go backwards, is at 2.6 million on TikTok. The Buttholes one is at 241,000. The head shaving one is at 275,000. The breast milk one is just under a million, 957,000. Human puppy bowl is 235,000. Net cracking is 248. Giant snake skin is 215. Sexy car wash is 210, which that's actually lower than I thought it'd be. Dimension 20 on a bus is at 1.1 million. And then King for a Day is at 658,000. Like I said, King, if those two sketches break out of the orbit, they'll be popular. Because that's one of the things I have seen people complain about, is that there's a certain level of insincerity with some of these videos that, you know, because they're all, you know, produced behind the scenes. It's kind of, I don't want to use the comparison of, like, making a video of you, like, giving money to a homeless person. Like, that's not what this is at all. But, you know, there's a certain level of artificiality to it that King for a Day doesn't have. Because it is genuine people on a board on, like, the beach that they go up to. It works a lot better. So, no wonder that one's up at a fourth. Like, I totally get that. Same thing with the breast milk one. Like, the fact that they genuinely guessed it gives it a lot more of a punch. But yeah, it's Game Changer. I saw somebody say that this one was the season finale. I don't think that's true. I think, because this was episode 8. Usually there are 10 episodes a season, so I think we've got 4 more. Even though, I guess people looked at the trailer, like, for the season, and so far, only, like, 1 clip hasn't been in any of the episodes. So, like, it's like 1 or 2 clips. So there's not much left. But, and those could both be from the same episode, we don't know. I definitely think, because every season ends with them doing another reality show. You know, The Circle, The Bachelor, Survivor. They're definitely gonna do something. Is it gonna be the Great British Bake Off? Everyone's thought was Taskmaster. But, like, that's kind of what... Like, they did a Taskmaster thing on One and Done. So I don't think they're going to do Taskmaster. But they could. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. I do hope whatever it is, it's better than Ratfish. Because I don't hate Ratfish. I didn't particularly care for it. I think it's one of the weaker episodes. Specifically in the later seasons. Like, Game Changer has always been good. Definitely, like, after the first 3 seasons, it really starts to hit, like, a really solid stride. It keeps topping itself. But right in the middle of all those great episodes, you get Ratfish, which, it's got some good jokes, but overall, I just don't really care for it. Okay, with that, we've talked about that longer than fucking Donkey Kong. Did we? Kind of. Let's talk zombies. So, if you have not heard of these movies, so, you know, Disney Channel growing up, they had DCOMs. Disney Channel original movies. You know, these are lower budget movies, usually made to promote one of the stars on the Disney show. So, like, there was Lemonade Mouth, which was to promote, Bridget Mendler, I think it was? There was Radio Rebel, which was to promote... Oh, God, what was her name? It was whoever played Jessie. I'm forgetting the actress's name. There was Camp Rock, which was to promote the Jonas Brothers in Demi Lovato. There was High School Musical, which was to promote, you know, Zac Efron and Ashley Tisdale and other characters. You know, and those ones got so big, they actually eventually got to theatrical movies. So, you know, that's what DCOMs, they haven't always been like that. Like, you know, way back in the day, you had ones like Xena and Smart House, which I don't really felt like were promoting anybody specifically, but they were really good. Okay, Xena I don't really have thoughts on. I loved Smart House. I loved the 13th Year? I think it was called the one where he's a mermaid. That one was really good. Luck of the Irish, where he's a leprechaun, was really good. Oh, God. Was Halloween Town a DCOM? I think Halloween Town was. I really liked those Halloween Town movies. They made like 4 of them, specifically only like the first 2. But I have very fond memories of the first 2 Halloween Towns growing up. But yeah, eventually, you know, they just became marketing platforms. And so, in like 2018, Disney had the idea to make a zombie movie. But what type of zombie movie? They're gonna make it a romance. Oh, you mean like Warm Bodies? The zombie romance movie that's Romeo and Juliet? And not just like Warm Bodies, they literally just did fucking Warm Bodies. Like, if you've never seen Warm Bodies, this was... God, I couldn't even tell you what year. Warm Bodies... 2013. It was a 2013 romance zombie movie about a guy named R who, you know, while, you know, doing zombie things, he meets a girl who's out scavenging, falls in love with this girl, you know, love at first sight. In the him falling in love starts to like heal him from zombification, and slowly like the other zombies start to fall in love as well. And it's Romeo and Juliet. Warm Bodies is literally just Romeo and Juliet. Like, I can't remember if the girl's name was Juliet, but the guy R is clearly just, you know... Oh, her name is Julie. Yep, it's literally just Julie. Fucking Dave Franco was in that? Nicholas Hoult was in that? Wait, what the fuck do you mean Lex Luthor was the zombie in Warm Bodies? What the fuck? Are you shitting me? Oh my god. I loved that movie. No, seriously. I loved Warm Bodies. Holy crap, I did not know that. That's awesome. But yeah, so it's zombie Romeo and Juliet. It's, you know, it's not a very complicated movie, but I think it's very charming. It's a lot of fun. As someone who, you know, I do like my classic occasionally, Romeo and Juliet with zombies does work. So Disney's Zombies is literally like, hey, let's do the same thing. We've got Zed, who is a zombie, but, you know, in this world, they've created these, like, zombie wristbands that make the zombies not be, like, crazy monsters that eat brains. And you have a girl who's named... Oh, God, I just watched all 4 of these movies. Her name is... Her name is Addison. There we go. And she wants to be a cheerleader. You know, Zed wants to be a football player. Addison wants to be a cheerleader. They live in a cheerleading town. Like, their school, the Shrimp, are like big on, you know, they haven't won a football game in 20 years, but they win the cheer competition every year. Like, that's what the school's known for. That's what they're famous for. She wants to be a cheerleader. You know, Addison has this curse where she's got, like, white hair, but she wears a wig to hide it. So, you see, she's not so different from the zombies. Her cousin Bucky is on the cheer squad, and he's racist against the zombies. Meanwhile, the zombies, you know, school is integrating zombies and humans, but the zombies are stuck in the basement. And anytime a zombie gets out, they ring the zombie alarm. And everybody freaks out, and they've got panic rooms. And Eliza, you know, one of Zed's friends, wants to overthrow the government and literally plans on, like, heathering the school cheer competition with a bomb. And they stop her last minute. And it's like, no, she's the one person, like, speaking it. So, I guess the first thing I should say, after everything I've just said, this movie is a metaphor for racism. Disney's Zombies is a metaphor for racism. And it is the sloppiest metaphor for racism I have seen potentially ever. Like, I like Zootopia. Zootopia is a good movie. But it's not a very good metaphor for racism. As it goes, you know, there are, you know, because the thing about racism is that it's inherently illogical. You know, there are no differences with people. Whereas Zootopia doesn't work because there are differences between predators and prey. This movie is fucking even worse than Zootopia in that regard. Because one of them is literally fucking zombies that want to eat people's brains. Meanwhile, you know, it's the white people. Which I know they very clearly make a point in this movie that all the people in Seabrook are, you know, it's a very diverse place. Like, you know, everyone gets along unless you're a zombie. But it very much feels like, yeah, everyone gets along. But it's very white suburbia. Like, you're leaning very heavily into the 1950s white suburbia aesthetic, which is very white. Meanwhile, all the zombies live in the slums, in the ghetto. And sure, you didn't put them in blackface, but you did put them in whiteface. And while that's not offensive as it should be, like, it's still kind of fucked up, you know? Like, it's just such a fucking sloppy metaphor. It makes Zootopia look like a masterpiece. Not that Zootopia isn't good. I do enjoy Zootopia for what it is. It's just kind of sloppy with its racism metaphor. But this is so much worse. Oh my gosh. Is it all bad? Not particularly. Like, it got a few laughs out of me. There's a point there, so that, I mentioned earlier, it's a cheerleading town, and they haven't won a football game in like 20 years. And the coach of the football team very clearly knows that, and so when Zed goes to try out for football, it's like, you all came here, nobody gives a shit about football, you're all on the team, maybe we'll win a single game this year. Maybe I'll finally get to move out of my mom's basement. Like, that's the coach of the football team did get a laugh out of me. And then in the third movie, they make it, right, he's living in his mom's basement for the first two. And then in the third movie, they make a joke that he's finally made enough money to move out of his mom's basement, and now his mom is living in his basement. That was funny. That got a laugh out of me. So there, you know, that one singular joke worked. This is a musical. All four of these movies are musicals. The first one is okay. There's this one cheerleading song that I did, like, I could not tell you a single lyric of the song, but I really liked, like, the melody. I don't want to hum it, because I'm bad at humming. But, like, I can picture it in my head. I liked the melody. They play it, like, 3 times. They knew they had something going with this cheerleading song, and they keep using it. So, like, that's an okay song. Of course, they sing the obligatory, like, racism songs and whatnot. They're like, oh, can't we're all in this together. Can't we just get along? And it's dumb. It's cheesy. But yeah, it's a fucking mess of a movie. I guess since I've been rating stuff out of 10, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Like, it is bad, but it's not all bad. I don't think the actors are terrible. Like, I'm not gonna say it's fucking Shakespeare or anything like that, but it's not like they put nothing into it. I think, the main girl of Addison is likable enough. She's a popular kid, but she's the type of popular where it's like people like her, but they don't know her, and she just wants a place to belong. Zed is, he just wants to, end racism, and he's able to do that by being good at football. Is he cheating? Oh, 1000% he's cheating at football. But the movie doesn't care, so neither am I. Eliza as, like, the revolutionary, I do like, and it does kind of suck that, when she plans on, killing all the humans, they kind of ruin her plans. But, like, I get it, and that was not this type of movie. They were going more Martin Luther King than they were Malcolm X. She's not Magneto, is I guess what I'm getting at. But yeah, it's not a good movie, but I sat through it. I've definitely seen worse. It's very much like it's a decom. Most decoms are not good. I know, we love Smart House. We love Lemonade Mouth. We love Third Example Here. They're not all good movies. They're decoms. I expect less from them. And even expecting less, this one still kind of fucks up. But not so much so. Like, it could be worse, Like, there are, if you're sure, is this a very sloppy racism metaphor? Yes. But like I said with Zootopia, it's better to show them this than, something that says, no, racism good. Yeah, I'd rather a kid see zombies and learn racism is bad, even in the most ham-fisted way possible, than to watch fucking God's Not Dead and learn anything from that movie. Because their Christian conservative parents decided to take them to it. So that was the first one. Again, it's not good. Why the fuck did I continue with these? I don't know. Zombies 2 is werewolves. That's the whole gimmick of the second one, is, hey, they have zombies in town. There are now werewolves that, like, hey, in the Lost Woods, when the people, because, we're somewheres in the Pacific Northwest, and when the people came and colonized Seabrook, they kicked out the natives, which were the werewolves. Of course, are the werewolves also equally diverse, and they didn't just get a bunch of Native Americans playing them? Yeah, kind of like the zombies, kind of like the humans. They try to make it a little bit for everybody. But, so the werewolves' whole thing is that, hey, when the humans came in and colonized them, they took the moonstone to use at their power plant. And basically, because the whole zombie outbreak happened when the power plant exploded, and now you find out, like, hey, it's because of this moonstone underneath the power plant that, is the whole partially the reason why the zombies exist to begin with. So you find that out. And the werewolves, they don't know, they just know the moonstone's somewheres in town. Of course, it's under the thing, and they don't know about that. The werewolves show up And everybody freaks the fuck out and is like, oh, all the, segregation laws that we put in place that, we got rid of because the zombies were good at playing football, they're now all back. We're so scared of the werewolves that all the segregation laws have returned. And then the werewolf... So the werewolf... There's a song with the werewolf, the first song with the werewolves, where they're like, we rule the night. We are the night. Fucking awful. I don't know if it's the worst song in the series, but it might be. It's so fucking sloppy. But so the werewolves show up at the school and like barge in and are like, yeah, because they don't want to tell the people they're here for the Moonstone. They're just like, we heard that you let the zombies into the school. We want to join school as well. And you expect, because they brought back all the segregation laws, you expect them to be like, fuck off, the town still hates them. The town's scared of them and hates them. But no, Addison just says, oh, hey, you guys are here? Yeah, welcome aboard. Welcome to our school. And they just join. The whole basic, they're like Footloose, but instead of dancing, the zombies aren't allowed to go to prom because everyone's scared of the werewolves. They find out the werewolves aren't a threat. And it's like, oh, are we going to undo all the segregation laws now that we know the werewolves aren't bad? Nope, they're all still in place. Zombies can't go to prom. Everyone's still freaking the fuck out, even though, the werewolves are just hanging out at school with all the kids. Won't somebody think of the children? Clearly not. What a fucking mess. After that, the werewolves are looking for the Moonstone. They, meanwhile, because of Addison... Because in the previous movie, Addison removes her wig and exposes that she has white hair, thinking that it'll end racism. It doesn't. And this one, because of her white hair, all the werewolves have, like, a white streak in their hair. And they think, like, oh, Addison is the alpha. She's this prophesized alpha that will lead us to the Moonstone. Because the werewolves need the Moonstone or else they're all gonna die. So they're looking for that. They get Addison to help them. And she joins the werewolf as part of their pack. They give her this Moonstone, and it's like, hey, if you wear it, you'll turn into a werewolf. Instead, Zed steals it, because he's running for student council against Bucky, who, even though at the end of the first movie, Bucky, the racist guy, teams up with the zombies to win the cheer championship, even though it's like, okay, I guess this isn't bad, showing that, hey, people don't just get over racism overnight. That Bucky, he was racist in the previous movie. He's still racist in this movie, just a little less so. But yeah, Bucky, I can't even remember anything he does. They're running for student council. Bucky makes Zed look like a monster. All he cares about is going to prom with Addison. But in order to get that, he has to win student council elections. Addison, right, Zed freaks out, loses the election, the zombies and the werewolves aren't allowed at prom. Meanwhile, they at some point they go to the power plant, because the power plant is supposed to be destroyed by Zed's dad. They do this whole dance scene. The power plant, Zed's dad agrees not to destroy the power plant, but the bombs go off anyways and blow it up. Addison finds out she's not a werewolf. Zed goes in. And somehow, like, the Moonstone, like, calls out to them, and they're able to go and find it. And, they bring it back. Zed, like, zombies out. But then, like, he's able to, like, control himself. It's a whole thing. And hey, at the end of the day, everyone is saved. And in this one, they actually kiss, because in the first one, they didn't. Honestly, this one is equally bad, but maybe I enjoyed it more. Like, I think at least the werewolves are more interesting. Still probably like a 5 out of 10, but yeah, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more. Like, I guess I'll put it like this, like, gun to my head, you make me watch another one of these, I'd probably pick the second one to watch again. They're all a fucking mess, but I could probably stomach the second one again. I don't know if I could do that for any of these others. The third one, meanwhile, is aliens. So aliens have come to town. You get what may be the best song in the series, where it's like there's like an alien invasion song when the mothership first shows up, and like how scared everyone is of the aliens. And even though the aliens come down and are like, hey, we come in peace, do not be afraid, the song is all about how everyone's afraid of them and how they're here to like kill us and eat our brains or whatever. It's really dumb, but it's probably the best song in the series. So we get that. There's 3 main aliens. One of the aliens is non-binary, and like they actually do treat it with like the proper respect it should have. So that's like good. It's nice to see that. I can't remember any of their names, but I did pick up that one of them was non-binary. I don't think all of them are. I think it's just the one. But it makes sense. The aliens are, they're here looking for this map to Utopia. That one of their scouts was here on Earth, they found the map, and it's hidden in the most precious thing. Meanwhile, the aliens don't want the people of town knowing that, so they instead are like, hey, we're here to join the cheer competition. Eventually, they think that, hey, the map is inside the trophy from the cheer competition, because it's made from alien material. Of course, the big thing in this movie is, right, for the past 2, Addison's whole thing has been she doesn't belong. She's looking for her clique, her group, her squad, and she doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. Turns out she's an alien. Her grandma was an alien, she's an alien, and that even though all the aliens have blue hair, after being away from her home planet and other aliens for so long, it turned white, and that's why Addison's is white. I did like that you find out the mom's hair is white as well. That the mom has white hair and has just been hiding it the entire time. I actually did like that. But, so they find out Addison's an alien. Zed, meanwhile, is trying to get into college, because, he wants to be the first zombie to ever go to college on a football scholarship. Everything almost fucks up. He's trying to get in on a football scholarship and fails. Instead, there's like a scholarship for an exceptional student. So we get a song about exceptional Zed. That was also actually pretty decent now that I think about it. Is it good? No, but it's kind of catchy. I guess, how do I put this? I guess all this, when My Little Pony did their high school movies, which I know I mentioned the other week when we were talking about K-Pop Demon Hunter, those songs are fucking bangers. All 3 of the villain songs, the Twilight winning the crown one, the My Little Pony movies have some banging music. These, meanwhile, it's just generic decom shit. But, Zed gets, he eventually gets into college, but hey, they find the map, they call the ICE agents on the aliens, and so the aliens can't cheer in the cheer competition, but Addison wins the trophy for them. It's honestly really contrived, with how, because you would think like, oh, all the aliens like go into hiding after ICE is called on them. They don't. They instead still just hang out in the cheer competition. It's kind of, again, this is fucking Zombies 3. The map isn't in the cheer competition trophy. Instead, it's been encoded into Addison's DNA. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll go to Utopia, but Addison has to come with us. So, on the day of their graduation, Addison leaves with the aliens. So they're like, oh, we're not going to get to go to college. And I think she says something generic, like, oh, we'll see them again. So they take off. They're in the process of decoding the map. They realize, like, oh, wait. Why did we spend so much time finding the map? Why did your grandmother never go to Utopia? Because they realize, oh, wait, Earth is Utopia. So they head back. Hey, guess what? Now Addison and Zed are going to get to go to college together. And the aliens are here to stay. And then the movie ends. So have you ever seen, like, 22 Jump Street, where at the end of that movie, they make a bunch of jokes about how, like, hey, 23 Jump Street, we're going to medical school. 24 Jump Street, we're going to art school. 25 Jump Street, Men in Black, which was actually going to be a real movie that just never got made, which really sucks, because I would have loved that. The 21 and 22 Jump Street movies are so fucking good. Great comedies. But, so basically, Zombies 3 kind of ends like that. They end with the teaser that, like, hey, next time it's going to be vampires. Time after that, it's going to be werewolves. Who knows what's going to happen next? And so that brings us to Zombies 4. So this came out earlier this week, and it's, hey, vampires. Of course, it's not just straight up vampires. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So it's not just vampires. They're instead, you know, the same moonstone that created the werewolves. Well, there's another moonstone. Obviously, there are, you know, objects from space create monsters. That's something that's established in the second movie. And so there was another moonstone that fell in this, like, valley. And it broke into two pieces. One piece became vampires, and the other became daywalkers, which, honestly, they could have just said vampires and, like, wizards, and I would have been fine. Like, it's, like, the whole, like, listen, I don't read Blade comic books. I don't really know how the whole Daywalker thing works. But basically, the vampires, you know, they live at night. Do they have anything in common with vampires? Fuck no. It's literally nothing. Like, do the werewolves never turn into werewolves? Yes, but, you know, they joke about that one. And this one, no. It's vampire in name only. Honestly, it might be more offensive to vampires than fucking Twilight. Like, people shit on Stephenie Meyer's vampires, which are fairies, by the way. I know we apologize to Stephenie Meyer, happened a long time ago. But the vampires in Stephenie Meyer's Twilight are fairies. But regardless, it's in name only. The vampires, you know, sure, they live in a city where it's always night. But guess what? They're able to go out into the sun with no issues. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. They don't drink blood or anything. They instead eat these, like, blood fruit. You know, they're fucking Volt fruits. They eat these blood fruit. And then the Daywalkers are, you know, they're just like normal people. But the big difference is the vampires have, like, weather magic. Like, they're able to, like, control the wind and whatnot. Meanwhile, the Daywalkers have fire magic. You know, they get their powers from the sun. And the only commonality is that they also have to eat this blood fruit. But they don't call themselves vampires, and again, they have nothing in common with it whatsoever. I can't even remember, can the vampires turn into bats? I know they can fly, but I think that's a weather magic thing? I don't remember. But basically, there's these two tribes, you know, the Daywalkers and the vampires, and they fucking hate each other. Long time ago, they used to share an orchard where they grew all the blood fruit, but over time they grew to hate each other, so they sealed off the orchard, and they each took their stash of blood fruit back to their place, like back to their homes. And now the problem is the blood fruit's all dying. You know, they're running out, so they need to get back into the orchard. And that's when our protagonists show up. Can I be honest? This didn't need to have any of the characters from the Zombies movie. They only bring back 4 of them. They bring back Zed, Addison, Eliza, and the main werewolf, who is named... what is the main werewolf's name? I'm trying to find that out. Willa? Yeah, I think that's right. So those are the only 4 characters that come back. None of the aliens are here, none of the other supporting cast. And, you know, it's summer break in between college, and they're supposed to go off and do these, like, training camps. You know, Addison's going to cheer camp, Zed is going to football camp, because it's the thing where it's like, yeah, in their hometowns, they were the shit. And now that they've gone into the wider world, they realize they're shit. And they're not actually, like, as good as, like, anybody else. You know, very small pawn sort of thing. So, you get that. And they end up coming, their car breaks down. There's this whole, like, magic pulse thing that's causing, like, this, that's basically killing everybody. That it causes, like, the Z-bands to break. It makes the werewolf sick. I think it's doing something to Addison. I don't fucking remember. But, so that's how they get involved. They find out about this whole orchard dilemma. They agree to help out. Because they realize, like, hey, in order to, you know, save the Daywalkers and the vampires have to work together. I like that. At first, I thought they were doing a thing where it's like Addison was with the vampires and Zed was with the Daywalkers, and they were going to learn about each other's plight, and then, like, it was going to cause, like, a couples argument. Not at all. Instead, there's a whole thing with the vampire. So the Daywalker, Nova, who's, like, the main girl, she has prophetic vision. You know, she gets these glimpses of the future, and she keeps seeing this guy. Who is the head of the you know, because Nova's dad is the head of the Daywalkers. Victor's mom, something like that, is the head of the vampires. And they're in love. Basically, you know, imagine if Romeo and Juliet had a happy ending. And at the end of the movie, they go on their honeymoon, where they end up in a different city, where the same exact Romeo and Juliet scenario is playing out. So Romeo and Juliet have to help another couple through the Romeo and Juliet scenario. You know, two households divided, but their kids are in love. That's exactly what this is. Nova and Victor are in love, and their parents, you know, are arch enemies that are, you know, that... Nova's dad is like, hey, if you get a chance to get the fruit, we want you to steal it all for us. But, you know, the two end up working together, they fall in love, and by working together, they're able to solve the 3 puzzles that get them into the orchard. They get in, there's a whole misunderstanding, because, you know, Nova's dad said, hey, steal all the fruit. Nova is not going to do that, but, you know, she doesn't know. And then the parents come in, and, like, it's this massive orchard filled with fruit, enough fruit for everyone. And then the parent, like, the father and the aunt get into an argument, and immediately destroy half of it. And it's just like... You're like, and then of course they destroy half of it, and the first thing the dad says is, Nova, this is all your fault. If you hadn't have done what you did, none of this would have happened. I blame you for destroying all the fruit, even though it was my magic that did it. Like, fuck this guy. So after that, eventually they, like, earlier in the movie, you know, the whole thing that was causing, like, this, like, pulse that was, like, killing Zed and whatnot, they think they solve it, because there's, like, this radio tower that they fix, that's, like, plunged into the roots. As it turns out, that's the thing that holds the moonstones. So they go and they steal the vampire and the Daywalker moonstones, put it into the tower, and that heals the orchards, both the big one that they just burned and, like, the personal ones. Showing that, hey, guess what, they're all supposed to be together. And that the only reason all the crops were failing is because we were divided. Where have I seen this plot before? I mean, there's a ton of examples. I just can't think of any right now. I know I've definitely seen this before. That's for sure. But yeah, in the end, hey, guess what? They saved the day. With Zed having almost died, it gives him, like, a greater appreciation for Addison, and that they need to spend more time together. And it's just fucking stupid. Can I be on, like, I think I said this earlier. Zed and Addison did not need to be in this movie. Neither did Eliza and Willa. Like, they did not need any of these supporting characters. I don't know why there are any supporting characters in this movie. Like, you could have just said, hey, this is a new DCOM, Dawn of the Vampires, it's an original story, but it takes place in the Zombies universe. So it uses, you know, some of the same rules, some of the same logic. Because I get the feeling that the actors who play Addison and Zed, Milo Mannheim and Meg Donnelly, are too old to be in this. Like, the first Zombies was 2018. That was 7 years ago. They're too old to be in this movie. But they're here anyways. And yeah, and it's clear because, you know, I mentioned earlier that the third one kind of ends teasing that, like, hey, they're going to do vampires, then they're going to do mermaids. This movie ends teasing mermaids, but specifically with Victor and Eliza. So I think we're going to get a Zombies 5. But it's going to be specifically about, you know, these two dealing with mermaids. So yeah, I think this is the worst one. Just cause, you know, again, most of the cast is gone. I didn't even bring up, so in the third one, Eliza isn't in it. Because clearly there was some sort of like scheduling conflict with the actress. So instead they made her a robot and just did all of her scenes afterwards. I think they should have just cut her from the movie. I have no idea why the fuck she's a robot for most of it. It's so fucking dumb. Just cut the character from the movie. It can't be that hard. But yeah, so that's a fucking mess. The whole series sucks. I think they get worse with each one. Again, the second one might be the best one, but you know what I mean. These are just sloppy. They're sloppy, bad movies. I definitely say this is the worst. I guess maybe I'd give the third one. I'd probably give let's give the third one a 4, and let's give the fourth one a 3. Seems very harsh. Well, fuck it. Let's give it a 3. What do I have to lose? Yeah, I'd never rewatch this again. Like, I'd never rewatch any of these movies, but especially not the fourth one. Oh my god, I wouldn't recommend anyone watch the first one. Like, at least there's shit I could see people getting out of the first 3. The fact that this literally just kind of, in parts, retells the story of the first one. Yeah, fuck it, let's give it a 3. So yeah, that's the Zombies movies. Not good. Not good. Again, if I had to rank them 4, 3, 1, 2, with 2 being at the top. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, Superman Returns. We're talking Superman Returns. So, going into Superman Returns, the 2000 oh my god, my headphones just jump scared me. My headphones are about, like, they're low on battery. And oh my god, they just jump scared me. Holy shit. So going into the 2006 Superman Returns, I had never seen this movie. The only 2 things I knew about this movie going into it was that, 1, it was a continuation of Superman 2. You know, the 1980 Superman 2? Yeah, they continued from there. They basically pretended, hey, Superman 3 and 4 never existed. We're gonna, you know, we've got brand new actors. We've got fucking... Let me look up Superman Returns real quick. Returns. We've got, as the cast, we've got Brandon Roth as Superman, taking over from Christopher Reeve. We've got Kate Bosworth taking over for Lois Lane. We've got Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I'll be honest, watching this movie, I didn't immediately recognize it was Kevin Spacey. And when I found out, I was like, holy shit. The worst part, I don't have time to go into all the Kevin Spacey allegations. He's not a good person, and fuck him. But I think he killed it as Lex Luthor. For following up Gene Hackman, I actually think he did a really decent job. Like, I can get why he was a very popular actor, and then he used that popularity to, you know, sexually assault people. But, so that one, yeah. You've got James Marsden as Richard White. I had, you know, when I rewatched Hulk a few months ago, I was really surprised to find out that the dad from Modern Family was in that movie. That was John Marsden in this one. Fucking Cyclops from the X-Men movies. The Donut Lord from Sonic the Hedgehog is the boyfriend of Lois Lane. What the fuck? There's a bunch of other, you know, actors in this movie. Cal Penn is in this movie. He plays one of Lex Luthor's, like, bodyguards. What the fuck? So, the basic premise of Superman Returns is that after the events of Superman 2, some scientists located Krypton. They were able to look through their telescopes, see Krypton, and the planet looked like it was still there. So Superman just decided to abandon his life on Earth and go out to check. That, like, hey, maybe Krypton survived. Of course, not taking into account, like, light years and space travel and anything like that. You know, he was curious. So he goes out into space. He spends, you know, I think they say it's like 5 years. So in theory, that would put this movie in like 85? Except for the fact that there's a kid who has a flip phone. So clearly we're not in the 80s anymore. Timeline's a fucking mess. Let's not worry about it. So Superman, Clark Kent and Superman, you know, Clark Kent has been on sabbatical. Superman goes to Krypton, finds that, yes, it is in fact destroyed. He comes back to Earth, you know, he says hi to his mother again, goes back, gets his job back at the Daily Planet. And when he goes to the Daily Planet, he finds out, hey, Lois Lane met a guy, Richard White, who I'm assuming is, you know, it's Perry White's son. But I'm assuming he's named after Richard Donner, because there's no way in hell this is a character from the comics. So he meets Richard Donner, played by John Marsden, and they have a kid together. So he meets them, he meets this kid, and, you know, right away, I actually really liked how this movie opened. This first opening action sequence is, so the space shuttle is going off, you know, it's boosting off from a Boeing 737. And Lois Lane is on the Boeing plane that the space shuttle is going to decouple from and launch out of. And of course, something goes wrong. Lex Luthor's whole thing causes an EMP. The space shuttle can't detach. So Superman has to fly in, detach the space shuttle, rescue the plane. He almost completely fucks it up. Like, he accidentally tears off one of the plane's wings. But in the end, he saves the plane, lets it down in a baseball field. And hey, Superman has returned. This is a classic Superman set piece, as I think. Like, Superman saving a plane with Lois Lane on board. Like, I know in the animated series, which I wouldn't be surprised if they took a little influence from. He saved, right, it's Air Force One is the plane that goes down. And he saves Lois on Air Force One. So I think this is a good opening set piece. I think Brandon Roth as Superman is fine. He's trying to do his best, Christopher Reeves. I think he does okay. I do not love the costume. Specifically, I think the tights. I am all for Superman in tights. I think Superman looks the best in tights. But the way they did the tights in this movie, they're very short. Like, they're very, like, skinny tights. And they're more like, I don't want to say not a G-string, they're like booty shorts, I guess. They're very short, and then I don't like the color red they use. They use a very dark red for the shorts, the cape, the boots. I wish it, like, the Donner suits, you know, the Christopher Reeve suits, were a lot lighter colors. You know, it was a very bright red. The new Superman has a very bright red color. This one's very dark. Not as dark as, like, a Zack Snyder. And, you know, I'd rather have the shorts than not have the shorts. But it's a lot darker than I still think it's a fine suit. But, So, you know, Clark still loves Lois Lane. Lois still loves, you know, Superman. He goes and he spies on her. And of course, you know, James Marsden, the boyfriend, is jealous. Because who wouldn't be jealous of Superman? Like, I get it. I don't like Lois Lane in this movie. She's just kind of... Margot Kidder did such, like, a good job, and I really don't feel like this captures that. Like, I do like her insistence that, like, hey, you know, Chief, I did it, you know, she won her first Pulitzer for writing a story about how the world doesn't need Superman anymore. I like that. I like that detail. I like the whole thing, you know, how she doesn't want to write the Superman story and instead is, you know, doing the whole thing on the blackout, and the chief makes her write the story anyways. She writes Superman Returns and wins another award or whatever. Like, that's all good. I like that the husband isn't a bad guy. He's not, technically they're not married. But I like that, yeah. It kind of reminds me of the stepdad in the Ant-Man movies. You know, if you've seen the Ant-Man movies, the stepdad, he's like, yeah, he kind of seems like a jerk in the first one, but then you realize, no, he actually just cares. And the moment he realizes Scott's not a bad guy, they actually get along really well, and that continues in the second one. And I kind of like that here. Yeah, this Richard guy, not a bad guy, you know? He cares about the kid, who, for all intents and purposes, he thinks is his own. Because I guess I should say, going into this, the other thing I knew about this movie, I knew that the kid was Superman's. That basically, you know, after the events of Superman 2, Clark and Lois have sex that one time, and they got pregnant. But, of course, Lois doesn't remember, because, you know, that was all memory kissed away. Do they bring that up in the movie? No, of course they don't. But, yeah, we have that moment. You know, this kid's like, he's like so weak, he's asthmatic. But in the end, so we're going through, Lex Luthor has this plan. He's going to make basically a new continent that he controls, because it's a Superman movie. It's all about land for Lex Luthor. That's what I realized watching this. In the Donner Supermans, Lex Luthor, his plan is to take control of land. And then as a bonus, he gets to kill Superman. Whereas in the modern Superman movies, it's the opposite. He gets to kill Superman, and as a bonus, he gets the land. That's something James Gunn nailed, is that he understood that, no, it's the opposite. He wants to kill Superman first, get the land second. So regardless, you know, you get this whole thing, he's going to create this thing, he captures Lois Lane, he realizes the kid is Superman's kid, which I do like. But then after that, it's like, okay, you know, he's realized the kid's Superman's kid. Clark is going to find Lois. He launches the crystal with the kryptonite. And I was like, okay, you know, we're getting near the end here. You know, we're close to done with this movie. I paused it to go get like a drink or something. I still had a fucking hour left. Right when it feels like, you know, they're setting up the climax and everything. There was still an hour left in this movie. Like, what the fuck? So after that, Superman, you know, he has to save the people of Metropolis, because Lex Luthor's thing is destroying Metropolis. The city's literally being ripped in half, kind of. There's a giant crack forming. He does that. He goes, he saves Lois. The kid gets Superman powers and immediately fucking kills a guy by smashing a piano into him. Like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't expect the guy to actually be dead, but no, Cal Penn comes in like a scene or two later and is like, oh no, he's dead. So the kid, you know, gets Superman powers. James Marsden comes in and saves Lois and the kid, but immediately the boat gets like cut in half. They almost drown, but Superman comes in and saves them. He goes to fight Lex Luthor. Because the whole island is made of kryptonite, Lex Luthor is, you know, able to punch him, stabs him with a kryptonite knife. Lois goes back to save him. They do. Do they ever address the fact that, yes, the kid has Superman powers? Does Clark ever even find out that the kid has Superman powers? I don't think so. But so afterwards, you know, Clark is like, oh, you know, Lois saves him, and he's like, I have to go back. So what he ends up doing, which to be honest, is not one of the craziest things we've seen in this movie. In these Superman movies. I think the time travel stuff and the memory erasing kiss are way worse. To be honest, I expected them to do one of those again. I would not have at all been surprised if, in order to save the day, Superman time traveled to before Lex Luthor shot his rocket and created the new continent. I would not have all been surprised if that happens. But instead, he picks up the continent and throws it off into space. Which, again, it's, you know, this is a pre-crisis Superman. That's totally something. I mean, in the comics, Superman has moved planets. So that in no way surprises me. But he does that. Afterwards, he's in a coma, and you think, like, oh, he's dead. Lois and the kid go to see him. They think he's dead, but no, he's actually alive. He goes and he sees the kid, probably realizing that, yeah, that is his kid. But hey, surprisingly at the end of this movie, Clark and Lois don't get back together, and Lois stays with John Marsden. Which I was not expecting, but yeah, they do that. And yeah, that's kind of where the movie ends. Hey, Superman has returned. And yeah, that was a movie. I'll be honest, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I did. Listen, I have not listened to Kinda Funny talk about this one. I know they did their in-review yesterday. I haven't watched it yet. Hope maybe by next week. Because next week I do plan on rewatching Man of Steel, by the way. Just BT dubs. But, listening to them talk about this movie, I know Nick and Greg don't like this one. At least I think they said they didn't like it. So I was not expecting much to go into this one. Like, I knew it was going to be better than 2 and 3. Because 2 and 3 are fucking awful. I knew it was going to be better than that. And it is. If I had to put it in my rankings, it's, what? Yeah, right above 3 and 4, but below 2, Superman the movie, and Superman 2025. Yeah, it's basically right dab in the middle of the list. But I had some enjoyment. I think there were some good parts. It very much is dealing with, hey, what if Superman disappeared and then decided to come back? What would happen? Like, how would the world react? Like, definitely it feels like if I was making a Superman movie, this would not be what I would do. It'd be like if they made another Tobey Maguire movie, and it was like, yeah, since, you know, Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire just, like, disappeared. It'd be really fucking weird. Like, I get it, but it'd also be really weird. And it'd be like if he disappeared, but he didn't hook up with MJ and have a kid. Which is what, like, if they make Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, I want it to take influence from the new Ultimate Universe. I want them to do something along those lines. Because I think that'd be a great story. But I don't know if they're going to do something like that. The fact that right when I thought, we're getting into end here. This movie is 2 hours and like 45 minutes. It did not need to be 2 hours and 45 minutes. You could have... I know that's a problem with a lot of these older Superman movies. They're just way too fucking long. You could have cut like 45 minutes from this. But yes, as like a love letter to the Donner movies, I think it's okay. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I don't love it by any means. I'm going to be generous and give it a 7. We've given out some low scores today. Not that these are anything comparable, but let's give it like a 7. I expected to dislike it a lot more than I did. I really do feel like the first, hour and a half was actually pretty decent. I was having an okay time with it. I liked seeing Superman go around and save people. I liked some of the Lex Luthor stuff. Again, for a continuation of Christopher Reeves and Gene Hackman. I thought they were doing an okay job. But, yeah, I don't know why this movie... It's a weird movie to exist, but I had an okay time with it. I was expecting it to be way worse. Not as bad as 3 or 4. Again, 4 is fucking awful, and 3 is so fucking boring. Yeah. But yeah, that's Superman Returns. Like I said, next week I'm doing Man of Steel. I haven't seen Man of Steel since it came out, or since, Batman v Superman came out. Oh, we're only missing 8. Oh yeah, we're definitely beating this game next time. I don't know if that's going to be the next stream. The next stream might be Pokemon. I might alternate, but yeah. What a... Superman Returns. What a weird movie. But, like I said, I didn't hate it. I did not. I thought it was fine. Yeah, no. No, thank you. I have no interest whatsoever. I guess that the next thing we're doing is marbles. I mean, we're almost done here. Because we've made a lot of progress, you know? Look at that. Man, no, fuck. I wish there was a good Superman game. I would love that. But there just isn't. Alright, let me switch over. Alright, let me pull up Marble League. We got 2 things today. Alright. Okay, here we are. Let's get into our jersey, our shirt, whatever. You get my point. So we got a funnel endurance and hurdles. So normally we're pretty good at funnel endurance. Not the best of the best, mind you, but we're usually pretty decent at funnel endurance. So I'm hopeful for this one.
We got a double helping for you today. Here in event 2 of
oh wow, that's
a Marble League.
That's a really high difficulty on
not
Roldo.
Just for the Marble League proper, but it's the showdown first.
So right now we're not looking great, you know, 14th. That's not good, but I have faith we'll do better this time.
In the very first event. This event, by the way, sponsored by Caleb Geels.
Wait, vacant?
Join our Patreon to support us.
Wait, what was that? Oh, team owners. Okay. I was like, why is there a So nobody wanted to sponsor the Rojo Rollers. That's really funny. I don't know. I've played Undertale. I bet on Snail Racing there. Diana. Okay, so that's our Team Galactic
This event,
sponsor.
by the way, sponsored
okay,
by
that's cool.
Caleb Geels. Please join our Patreon to support us by sponsoring upcoming events.
Don't worry, Rocky. You'll get them next time.
Bottom 4 are relegated, and we begin with the showdown. Shout out to Klein.
Oh yeah, baby fights. That's what it's all about.
What is the showdown? It's the 16 unqualified teams.
That's a Gravity Falls joke, right? Baby fights.
Scattered throughout the Marble League. So instead of separate videos, we're going to have them precede the main events in the Marble League.
Okay, there was definitely an announcement there that I just totally talked over.
Right now, and it is team
some very small funnels this year. To be fair, I'm glad it's not the ones with the obstacles in them. I did not like the obstacle funnels last year, but those are some small funnels.
But that changes. Switching around. Oh, we take a look in the bottom funnel already for our first finisher, and it's the Gliding Glacier.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And is that the Rojo?
Rockets? No, they finished in 7th.
Oh wait, are these some of the relegated teams, or some of the friendlies? I mean, or showdown. I mean showdown. Yeah, okay. These are the showdown teams. I was not paying attention at all. I did not realize this was some showdown stuff.
Team Plasma and the Thunderbolts will win the heat. Shock drops through. Time was a 1:19.49. That is a little over 6 seconds clear of Ghosto. And 9.5 seconds clear of the Jungle Jumpers. Heat number 2, this time we have Solar Flares, Rojo Rollers, Wolfpack, Team Primary, Crazy Cat's Eyes. And we are off. Name of the game in the funnels, of course, stay in as long as you can. These are different than the usual funnels that we've had.
If the Crazy Cat's Eyes don't dominate, like, it's already crazy they didn't make it into the main show, but if they don't dominate the showdown, like, what? And same thing with the Hazers. Like, the Hazers are way too good of a team. But did they just fuck up? The Crazy Cat's Eyes. Yeah, wow, that's bad.
for the Cats.
They're out, like,
Farther
those two
down,
teams
that is
outclass
Team
most of the
Primary's
teams in these
Captain
lower
Prim.
leagues.
Next up, Rojo Rollers. They look to be advancing down into the final funnel. But there's 3 marbles down there. Crazy Cat's Eyes, they're circling.
Wow,
Down
they
come.
blew
Finish 7.
that.
Rojo Rollers
They were
back.
doing so good at the
Will
start
it be the
there.
Wolfpack?
Meanwhile, look at Hazers
In
all the way
fifth,
back
so
there.
these 4 marbles will
They've got a
advance.
full funnel
Solar
between
Flares
them.
Come in 4th. It'll be Sterling from the Shining Swarm next. Indy from the Indigo Stars. That's their captain. And the reserve Murky has a full funnel lead.
That's crazy.
119.49 we saw from Shock in the opening heat. This one in the 120s. Will we reach the 130s? Just shy. 129. Coming up next.
Oh shit.
Coming up next. That's not looking good for the Purple Rockets. No, they finished in place. Move
I think
to an elimination.
we were
bracket
somewhere around there.
to slot into positions 16th through 9th. There you see the competitors. Off we go. This is a different launching mechanism than what we've seen before.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the split at the very top.
Blast. You've got to maneuver around that plexiglass. Enter the funnel. There's a bit of strategy that plays in that. Do you want to come in from the right or from the left? If you come in from one certain angle, you can see your turn is going to be sharper into that first funnel. The first one is wider, though, to accommodate that. And you can see after funnel number 2, it tightens up. Crazy Cat's Eyes are battling up there with the Wolfpack. Now it's a 3-marble battle. Moving aside, Gliding Glaciers are up there. Minty Maniacs are struggling. Yes, they're down there in the final funnel already. Minty Drizzle is trying to avoid getting last and will not be able to.
Them, the
Sold
Purple
from
Rockets.
the Purple Rockets. Very close to that event horizon.
And Crazy, again,
Crossing the Gliding
just
Glaciers,
falling.
keeping wide. Crazy Cat's Eyes have joined them down there along with the Chocolatiers. Oh, and now everybody's in the funnels. The final one, Gliding Glaciers come through, Rojo Rollers, Crazy Cat's Eyes, Wolfpack, and it comes down to these 2. I can't even say it fast enough.
Yeah.
It is the Chocolatiers. They win it over Team Primary. You could hear the chocolate cheers as soon as they were in position.
Did we talk about this last time or 2 weeks ago?
Ready for the final.
I was wondering, like,
2 reserves
you
in there.
know how like groups have like names?
Taking it very
like,
cautious through this.
I want to say like
funnel.
stand names, but I can't think of the proper term.
We start
Where
to see
like
several
fandoms
inside
get
others, using those
names.
collisions to keep
Like
themselves
the example
outside.
I think of is like
Good job of that, along with
the recent example with all this K-pop Demon Hunter talk is that I found out that if you're a fan of the K-pop group twice, you're called a
Solar
once.
Flares.
Or like that's like YouTubers do this all the time. Like, hey, if you're a PewDiePie fan, if you're a PewDiePie fan, you're a bro, right? His fans are called the bros. And you know, other groups have like these fandom names. Is that a thing in normal sports? Like, if you're like a Dallas Cowboys fan, do you call yourself not a cowboy, but like something like that? Like, is that a thing? Is that just a fandom thing that happens? Because like sports nerds are very nerdy. Like, sports nerds and Bible nerds don't get clumped in with the other nerds, but they're very much nerds. Hazers with the bronze.
And it'll be Indigo
Is that
Stars in
fucking
second,
Turtle
leaving Shelly from the
Sliders?
Turtle Sliders.
What the fuck are you doing winning?
One of the showdown.
But you get my point. Because I was thinking about this, like, do marble teams have, like, fandom names? Like, oh, what was the example I could think of? It wasn't...
20 points go to Shelly from the Turtle Sliders.
Like...
Indy nets 17. Murky.
Like, if you're a Green Ducks fan, you're a Ducky or something like... I know Ducky's one of the athletes.
Showdown has awarded points.
Yeah, like, see, Ducky's one of the... But you get my point, right? Like, fandoms have, like, athlete
Off we go in
names.
heat number 1. Same idea. Stay in the funnels the longest. Top
I love
4
sports,
of
but I
each
don't
heat
actively watch them.
will
I'll watch
advance.
sports, but now
In
religiously,
this
you know
one,
what I
we've
mean?
got
Yeah, I guess.
Pinkies, Green
So yeah,
Cups,
I'm not a sports guy.
Oceanics,
Like, I know in
Bananzas,
fandom that's a
Blackjacks,
big
Cobalts, and
thing.
Limers.
But like outside of that, I have no idea. Like every once in a while I'll watch
Oceanics.
boxing and
Up
yeah, I
there
get
in
that.
First right now. Rangers hold second place. That's their captain Kinnoing.
But yeah, I was thinking about that because I was like, what was the exact? It wasn't.
For the Blackjacks, but Blackjacks are
Well, there
mired
wasn't
down
like
in the order.
a crazy Cat's Eyes fan. It's called like a cat. You know, they're just like, we're the cats, and that means we're a fan of the crazy Cat's Eyes. Or what was the other fucking example? It was.
Limers are in danger of going fourth here, and they do so after a
I can't remember. I know I had an example when I was thinking about it. I also totally get that.
In quick succession as well.
Yeah, not good for the Green Ducks. What was my example? Fuck, this is gonna drive me crazy.
Reserve, new for the season.
It was.
Cobalts will advance. Rangers will as well. They look to be coming in third.
It's not the Rangers. It wasn't the Savage Speeders. It wasn't the Raspberry Racers.
And with a full funnel lead, Ounce from the Oceanics will cruise to heat.
I can't remember. I cannot for the life of me remember what my example was. But what I'm getting at is I was like, if like the Team Galactic fans had like a fandom name, what would it be? That's what I was trying to think of. Would we be like astronauts or something like that?
Number 2.
You know, there's got to be something. I mean, that might also go to the Purple Rockets. Because I know each team has like their hashtag. Like Team Galactics is hashtag Reach for the Stars. But, you know, I could see us having like fandom names.
Immediately to last.
Okay, we're not doing great.
Savage Speeder's doing a good job up there. Circulating.
Yeah, we're not doing great at all.
Takes over the lead.
Come on, we just got to get top 4.
Speeders in second place right now, but they are in a bunch of marbles that drop through into that third funnel. Already some down toward the bottom. This is not looking great. We've got 4 marbles down there. Who drops through first? Oh, Team Momo went into that funnel second, but exited first. Now they are in danger.
Okay, we're not
of going
bottom 2.
That will be their fate. 8th for Team Momo. Bumblebee's Stinger coming through next.
Fuck, it's gonna be close.
Positioned toward the middle.
Oh shit! I think okay.
They come through.
We got.
The final eliminated team.
Yes, we made it top 4. That's what I'm talking about.
Team Galactic. Astron comes through in front of the reserve for the
way to go, Astron.
And it's another reserve for Mellow Yellow. Yeller will not hit that 136 mark that we saw in heat number 1, but will do enough to advance in heat 2.
I'm gonna drive myself crazy.
Disappointing for Momo.
Yeah, true.
Just 53 seconds.
What the fuck was
so ready
oh
for
my
the
God, it's driving me
bracket.
crazy.
These teams cannot get on the podium today, but they can still get a decent points haul.
If you're a
Momo Ducks, Balls of Chaos, Bumblebees, Wisps, Limers, Pinkies, and Snowballs, off we go.
It's going to drive me crazy. It is going to drive me crazy that I can't think of this.
And drops through first. Not what you want. Another quick exit out of funnel number 2. The 2 light-colored teams up there with one of the dark-colored teams. Those are the Pinkies and the Snowballs. And we wait.
I don't know why I can't think of it.
Working down through a lot of marbles caught up in those middle funnels right now. We look toward
okay,
the
Green
bottom.
Ducks are doing decent.
Team Momo is still in a world of hurt. Balls of Chaos are right there with them. Momo clear in the last funnel, not where they need to be. Pinkies are already done. I don't know how they sneaked on through. Momo gets
I
7 through the
ducked.
balls of chaos, disarray.
Because it was like one that was like
Bumblebees. They
so
had a good lead there for a while.
obvious.
Midnight Wisps come through next. Limers will drop in third. Circling is Snowfall, leaving it to Ducky from the Green Ducks to place 9th in the overall standings. I know we call it the losers round. I try not to say that. Green Ducks win in the relegation bracket, 125.99, 4.71 ahead of the Snowballs. Ready for the final.
All right, here we go. This is what it
Down
all
we
comes
come.
down to.
Early positioning here. Who will take full advantage? Well, I'll tell you, it's not going to be the Blackjacks in the first funnel. They drop through first of all. Raspberry Racers are looking good up there.
Okay, we're holding good in third, but that means nothing because it can quickly fall apart.
They hold the lead, but good position.
Look at that. I fucking jinxed it
Now they change their cadence.
almost immediately as I said
doesn't
it.
work. Raspberry Racers fell victim to their own ploy and give the Oceanics back the lead. It does disrupt them enough in this next
Immediately
funnel,
jinxed
and
it.
now
Fuck.
Rangers move up into second place.
Come on, I
They
believe.
try to rub on the Oceanics
Everyone's
just a bit.
so
It
close
doesn't
in that
work.
funnel.
Oceanics still holding the lead. Looking farther down here. Hart from the Blackjacks is in that final funnel.
That's root for the Blackjacks, and that's not a good start. But you know, keep rooting. You root for your team to fight if they win or lose. Wow, Raspberry Racers already
Gnome
out.
from the Cobalt. Savage Speeders come through next.
Come on.
Fighting for medals now. Oh, Rangers were last into the final.
Oh, we got a medal.
Mellow Yellow.
I'll take a
Then it's Team
bronze.
Galactic with the bronze. Oh,
Yes.
Rangers get the silver, and the
I'll take a
Oceanics have
fucking
done it
bronze.
again.
Of course, Team Ranger. Of course, the Rangers. And what the fuck do you mean Oceanics won 2 medals in a row?
Sees Ounce from
What the
Oceanics.
fuck?
In a time of
It's the
1:23.85,
Oceanics. What?
Capture the second straight gold medal,
Oh my God.
this time in the funnel endurance. Amazing. It is not over until it's over. Oh, Rangers did a great job.
I'll take a bronze. I will take a bronze. That's, you know what? After the year last year, where we only won a medal in the final event, getting something on the second event. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Told you we were good at funnel endurance, and this is one of our only good events.
The Oceanics have done it as well. 2 golds in 2
That's
events
wild, though.
to start these
Back-to-back
games, but our
golds.
hosts also
That's
2 medals
crazy.
in the
And then,
first
yeah, same thing
events.
with the
When's
Rangers.
the last time a host did that? Our standings. Of course, the Oceanics leading the way, but Rangers now up into second over the Midnight Wisps.
That brought us up to 6th. 8 places.
That's
That's good. That's very good.
Until then, happy trails.
All right, let's jump over to the hurdles. Well, I still drive myself crazy.
Three events into the 2025 Marble League, and we're all getting settled into this Western lifestyle. Loving the pace of play, although
I looked up all the
there's
team
nothing else to put your
hashtags,
spurs on.
and I'm like going through them
that.
to see if like
Shout out
maybe
to our
that's what I was
episode
thinking the
sponsor,
obvious one
Constant.
was.
Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Taking a look, after 2 events and 2 Oceanic victories, they lead the way, predictably, over the O-Rangers.
Dear Marbles, welcome back to the Marble League, hosted by the O-Rangers. Our 3rd event today is the 5-meter hurdles.
These hurdles, always trickier than they appear. The goal to traverse them without getting tripped up, but you also don't want to leap too high up in the air. Huckleberries, grape shots,
I'm
flaming
going
cherries,
crazy.
and the majestic melons here, and it's the melons down in the bottom lane stretching that lead. And over the line they will come to set a first time for us on this new ramp. Now,
Wow,
yes, you
really?
hear the horns. That is a new
Holy
record
shit.
by some margin, and that is because the ramp angle has been changed.
Okay, that
this
explains
year.
it.
So keep that in mind. We should see several new records set over the course of this one. Rangers lead. Raspberry Racers, they come back through the final couple of hurdles. It will be the Raspberry Racers holding the way, and shout out to Roxanne for the Raspberry Racers while we're at it. A one-length victory for Ruzzy. 7-5-1-4. Top two advance out of each heat. Momo, Mellow Yellow, Bumblebees, and the Pinkies. Momo quickest out of the gate.
Yeah, you know, it's just a
Mellow
simple,
Yellow.
it's like a
Now
ramp.
they have a commanding lead.
It's not very complicated.
Into second place
The
go
bigger
Bumblebees.
worry
They
is
will
just
transfer.
going out of your lane, which
And one of the things you need
I
to look for
can't
when they go over
think of an
these hurdles
example, but
is
I'm
what
sure it
kind of
has
areas are they
happened.
pulling? Ideally, you want to stay
I'm sure
low,
somebody's also gone off the track
because
over
any
the
vertical
years,
movement is taking away from your downward movement.
which,
So stay
no,
low,
I think that
stay
the
tight,
jungle jumpers went off
and stay
during
fast.
funnel
Snowballs,
endurance.
Savage Speeders, Cobalts.
At least
and
I think that
Midnight
was them.
Wisps. Snowballs, they are fastest out of the gate, but once again they lose out. Midnight Wisps, proving again it's not how you start in these hurdles. Some marbles have told me there is an optimum speed to hit that first hurdle, and it's very tempting to go out too fast. And as soon as you get out of rhythm going down these hurdles, it is tough to claw it back. Blackjacks.
All right,
Green
here we
Ducks,
are, up
Team
against the Green
Galactic,
Ducks,
and Balls of
up against the
Chaos.
Blackjacks.
Down we go. It's very tight through the
Oh
first
yeah, that's
three
what I'm
hurdles, and now it
talking
stretches
about.
out. Not tight at all.
Oh,
Team
what a
Galactic.
great lead.
That was a cakewalk. Huge gap.
I think it's Starry.
And
Yeah,
Lawrence,
Starry, there we
6,
go.
8,
New
1,
record.
2.
You just got to
That
hold
is
it
a
up.
new Marble League record
Just got to hold it
in
through the
this
next
new
heats.
format. Teams had been consulted prior to the change of angle. They all agreed in the interest of competition that would be a better and actually safer way to do it. And Starry
Maybe
has
was
reached out
hurdles.
and
No, that was
cracked
half
Marble
pipe
League
that took
record.
out a
6,
referee.
8, 1, 2, advancing along
Yeah.
with Mallard from the Green Ducks. You saw the bottom of the order. They are locked in, and now we move to semifinal 1. Raspberry Racers, Bumblebees, Midnight Wisps, and the Green Ducks. Raspberry Racers, quick. Here come Midnight Wisps. Now Racers respond. Too late, but Midnight Wisps get the win. Raspberry Racers do transfer.
Yeah.
Mallard from the Green Ducks, just a few hundredths behind.
Yeah, they were catching up, but just not
It's a
enough.
2/10 of a second win for Eve from the Midnight Wisps.
Come on, Starry. You
Rangers,
got
Mellow
this.
Yellow, Snowballs, and Team Galactic here in semifinal B.
Oh,
Team
yeah, look at
Galactic
that.
Absolutely blitzed.
Come
the
on,
field
keep
last
it
time.
up.
Are they going to do it again? No.
Okay, they didn't
What
win,
kind of
but they still got
strategy? No,
second,
they
which
were
moves
going
them to the
advance,
finals.
Giving that
It was,
win
and it was also
to
very
Snowy from the
close.
Snowballs.
Okay, now we just
9-8-0.
can't come in
That is a
fourth.
stout
As
time.
long as we get first,
doubt.
second, or third, that's another medal
But compare
that
to
keeps us up and
6-8-1-2
up.
that we know Starry is capable of.
Yeah.
That marble saving it for the final.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it was a good showing.
We have
They just gotta
Midnight Wisps,
keep it.
Team Galactic, Raspberry Racers, and the Snowballs. Best of luck to all athletes.
There will be no three-peat of gold for the Oceanics. One captain, one reserve in the field. Off they go. Wisps and Snowballs are quick. Galactic trying to get into second place.
Oh,
but
they're
losing
losing
out.
too much speed on the
Midnight
hurdles.
Wisps on the top lane. They're going to hold it and win
No.
gold.
We got bronze. Another bronze isn't bad.
Eve
But yeah,
from
we
the
definitely we lost
cross.
too much heat on the hurdles. Too much speed, I mean.
Four
And, hey, we beat the Raspberry
hundredths the
Racers.
difference.
We'll take
Over
it.
Snowy from the Snowballs, Starry
And
from
hey, there's the Midnight
Galactic.
Wisps
Maybe
medal.
used
Gosh,
too
they-
much energy in the
I think they
opening
did
heats.
really good in the first event,
Still
if I remember
collects the
correctly.
bronze.
But yeah, still.
Raspberry Racers just miss out in fourth. Mellow Yellow and Green Ducks are hosts in seventh.
Congratulations to the winners of the 5-meter hurdles. In third place, we have Team Galactic. In second, the Snowballs. And
So
our
nice
winners
to
are
see.
the Midnight Wisps. Well done, and we will
Ah,
be
man.
seeing you all
After
again in the
last
next
year,
event,
it's just
Rodeo.
it is so nice to just
Shout
have
out to Seekers
something.
for the Indigo Stars.
anything.
Midnight Wisps.
I I was so
Get the gold
defeated
medal.
last year.
Break the string of
And now
Oceanics
we've come
wins.
back. Celeste leading us to victory.
Finishing
It's
very
sure,
strong.
we're going inch by
7-2,
inch,
6-4
but
was not
it's
the
something.
fastest time. It wasn't a Marble League record, but it was what
maybe
needed
top
to be
4?
done to win in the final. Well, knowing where the Oceanics finished, getting eliminated all the way back in Heat A with a time of 7-7-4-8.
Yeah, will
that
that
was
move?
nearest, by
That
the
might.
way.
Top
What
4.
will this do to the championship order?
5th is, of
Three
course, our
standings.
birthright. Yeah, top
They
4, like I said.
survive. They still lead to the Oceanics, but only by 4. The Wisps are now up in
Nice.
second. O'Rangers, the hosts,
And yeah,
are
the Midnight
third.
Wisps did get
Galactic up 2.
medal
How
the
about
other time.
Snowballs jumping 8 up to 7.
Nice. And Green Ducks are
Stirrups.
right there as well.
Rodeo next.
Wow. All right, well, that's our thing. We'll do that another time. So yeah, I guess the hurdles are what? Or the rodeo is tomorrow. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the rodeo is. I think that's a brand new event. Interesting. How does a marble do a rodeo? I have no idea. Yeah, we're going to end off here in a minute. But yeah, we got a rodeo and then the 5-meter sprint. Plus some more showdown stuff. Okay. Still cannot get that name. I'll have to think about it, and if I write it down, if I remember, I'll write it down. God, that's driving me fucking crazy. So with that, put on snail. I'm good. I need to go to bed. It's been a long day. I mean, we've gone for 3 hours at this point. Yeah. So yeah, that is where I'm gonna end off. So we will be back on Tuesday? Yeah, I know. We'll be back on Tuesday early in the morning. Oh, I know it is. On Tuesday it is Pokemon. There is a Pokemon Direct Tuesday morning at like fucking 6 a.m. Something redonkulous like that. So we will be back on Tuesday with the Pokemon Direct. And then next week for In Chat, we've got Fantastic Four. Because that comes out on Thursday or Friday, I guess. I don't know. I go see most movies on Thursday. And then we also have, well, Man of Steel. But I know there's something else. Can't remember what, but I know there's another thing we have next week. I know there's all these rumors about a Nintendo Direct. Might happen, might not. I have no idea. But definitely we will be here for the Pokemon Direct. If I don't wake up early enough, then we'll do it. God, we'll do it at some point. I don't know. I should be up because I think it's before I go to work. So I should be fine. Because God, that's the thing about these Pokemon Directs. When they go so early is I have to get up an hour earlier than I normally do. Just to be able to do them. It's been a busy week. So yeah, we will be back for that for sure next week. And yeah, I think that's it. There's always something I'm forgetting. I always forget. You know me. But definitely Pokemon. Not that I expect anything from the Pokemon Presents. I want to be very clear. It's a fucking Pokemon Presents. It's 15 minutes long, 13 minutes of shit nobody cares about, and then maybe the final 2 are stuff we actually want. I mean, sure, will they tell us more about Pokemon Champions? Sure. Am I going to find out what card pack I need to start collecting? Yeah. Do I kind of hope they're going to do Mega Evolutions in Pocket TCG? Yes, that'd be cool. Because I'm almost done with the Eevee set. I'm missing 4 cards from the Eevee set. Flareon EX, Primarina EX, Leafeon, and Zarina? I think it's just Zarina. So yeah. That's right around the corner. But that's where we're going to end off for the night. So I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time. Peace.